Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Freedom 100 live on the Elite Racing Network here from Indianapolis. We are gridding up on the front stretch. This will be a 100-mile race. 40 laps is what we're looking at here as we kick off the festivities here today. We are going to have, I believe, 4 races tonight, 3 or 4. And this
Yeah,
will be
it's a really good number there.
And as you heard right there, Carlos is the producer and co-commentator tonight with me, so it should be a great night of racing. This is the premier event of the day, though. This is the only race taking place here on the 2.5-mile oval. Everything else will be taking place across town at Lucas Oil Raceway.
Probably gonna take us like half an hour for us to grab our gear, get in the little scooters that we rented, and oh, Chris, yours is not charged, so you may have to take the bike. Is that gonna be okay with you?
Scooter? I was told we were going to get a helicopter ride over there.
No, we can't afford that one.
But nonetheless, it's going to be a great night here. We have Presley Sora on the pole, Nick DeGroot, Akash Rajesh. Listen, I'm not good with these names. I apologize. I know I'm butchering some names already, and we're only 3 in.
Yeah, we're gonna
Chad
apologize for any
Frankfield.
names to get wrong. Except for Chad's. We're always gonna get his wrong.
Yeah, we know Chad's. We're pretty comfortable with Ethan Stanley there, Michael Hosick. We got Chris Albrecht, Hunter Smith, Seth Rawls, Josh Osborne, Mark Rebelos out there, Jesper Orman, Gavin Hibbs, and AJ Hobson will round out this 14-car field out here tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, too.
Go on.
Carlos, every season, I think this is the best race that takes place during the month of May festivities that take place here for our Warriors for Peace IndyCar Series. Of course, all this leads up on Thursday to the running of the Indianapolis 500, but this race is way better than any of that. This will not be a single file parade. These cars are going to be out here pack racing, big runs, lots of passing. This is going to be an exciting and quick 100 miles.
Yeah, for all those that don't know, this is a DW12 that's been detuned, I believe a couple, maybe 100 horsepower. I'm gonna have to see if I can get that information. So it's already a car that's fast and already has like major drafting implications, and the fact that it's detuned it's gonna improve that like tenfold.
Yeah, and we're rolling here through 3 and 4. Carlos, who you got to win this race, man? We got 14 guys out here. What dart are you taking here?
Can I make a pick who's gonna probably wreck out?
Well, as long as you can't say Chad, because that's
damn.
That's
You know, I'm gonna put my money down on Jesper. I like the name. Starting in the back, but sometimes that's where you want to be.
Well, I'm gonna pick Ethan Stanley to win this thing, but I, in my heart, am rooting for Mark Rebelos to win this race. The green is out. We are away. It will take these guys probably about half a lap, maybe more, to get all the way up to speed. We will see red runs down the backstretch. Everybody single files out for the most part. And there you see it going double wide, getting big runs. We've got some throwback paint schemes out there. Big run from third. Here we go, trying to make a pass. Side by side. Oh, Presley, I believe, is pitting. Presley's got some kind of brake issue.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
Yeah, and you don't really need your brakes until you need them, so.
Well, unfortunately for the rest of the field, he's going to be hoping for a quick caution that'll get him back into this, because at the time being, his race is done. It's only 40 laps. This race is going to go by quickly, but we are going like 3 wide already in lap number 2.
And Chad Frankenfield on the top of that 3 wide. And he is driving a throwback. I'm not great with my IndyCar history. I believe that might maybe be a Dan Weldon throwback. Not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure
4
either.
wide.
4 wide, but I have some even more bad news if you're a Presley Sora fan. He did get a black flag when he entered pit road.
That's not ideal. Small field here. He might get a wreck based on what we're seeing. Here we go, 3 wide, looking 4 wide once again. 4 wide down into turn number 1. Chad backed out. They made contact. One guy's going to go all the way up by the wall. How about that? The cooler head of Chad Frankenfield. We don't see that very much, Carlos, where Chad's the guy that backs out and lets it happen.
You know, he's been talking in the group chat saying that he's been doing the best he can to be less aggressive and you know, not make mistakes, and he's been saying that even though he's been caught up in a bunch of incidents, they haven't been his fault, and I'm kind of saying that this is a different Chad, but he's still getting the same results of getting caught up in incidents.
Well, one thing I will say is he backed out of that spot down into turn 1, and he took the lead into 3 by being patient, so.
Oh, there you go.
Back 3 wide again. Back to 3rd. Got this great battle going on at the front. Gonna get side by side. I believe that's a speed channel car there on the inside. There's Presley coming back down pit road. And he has said that his issues are not fixed, so.
Well, regardless, he had to go down pit road because he had a black flag.
Not what he wanted to have happen out here tonight was what we got there. And it's very unfortunate to start from the pole and to have some kind of issue with your brake pedal. I'm not sure what the issue is exactly. I'm not sure if the brake pedal's sticking or if it's not quite sure what the issue is there, as we see these guys trying to load up in the draft to get a big run. Got a great looking car there on the second car on the inside for right now. That's a speed channel car. Looking great. Speed channel, one of the greatest channels that we no longer have. It's going to try to take the lead here. Oh, 3 wide. Here we go. 3 wide once again. Looking for 4. Just going to be 3. Chad seems married to that bottom lane. That seems to be where Chad wants to be. He's letting these guys get big runs and go to the top. As long as he's able to get down to the bottom, it doesn't matter to him. Big run here. He's going to go to the top, try to take this lead back. Big run coming from the Ghost machine there. Looking on his outside. And what you seen right there on that back bumper of Chad Frankenfield was you seen that car lift. I believe that's Osborne, lift it out to get a little bit of a gap, to get a big run, to do exactly what he's doing right now. Take the lead. Is the run enough to get clear? Not quite. He will have to try again, and that's if he can get back in line in that bottom lane. And right now, too, another thing that's happening right now, these guys can run wide open around the bottom, anywhere they want to run. Over the course of the run, the tires will wear, the dirty air will become more of a factor. And we will not see these guys be able to follow as close on the bottom side of this racetrack.
Good news if you're a Presley Sora fan. Finally got the black flag cleared. Unfortunately, he's just in pit road.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that their issues, they might as well get a head start on the racing across at Lucas Oil Raceway, because I don't think he's going to be able to get back into this one.
Yes, sir, and actually, the next race, which is scheduled to start around 7:45 p.m. Eastern, should be the Hoosier 50, which is going to involve the sprint cars at Lucas Oil, and that's exciting because that's a car I have yet to see in action in person.
It will be interesting. We've got to wrap this one up first. You see these guys using all the lanes around Indianapolis. Looking to the very top there. 3 by 3. Here comes Presley off of pit road. He's getting a lot of runs at pit road.
Mm-hmm.
Maximizing pit entrance.
Oh!
Nearly had a wreck there for second.
That was close.
I believe that's Osborne and Stanley there making a little contact.
Yeah, that looks, Osborne and Stanley, and now they're battling 2 wide for that race lead. 3 wide.
And 3 wide again. Ooh, nearly more contact. Stanley shoves the nose in there. Osborne tried to chop it off, and he was already there.
Now, I've done a couple of races here in the DW12 back when it was in action, in service. I don't know what the word is, but when real IndyCar used to drive these cars, I did a couple of races, and you know, maybe I'm not destined to be an open wheel driver, and I think that's fair. That being said, it takes a little just a little bit of contact, a little bit of nerves to unsettle that car and turn an epic 3-wide battle for the lead into a car crash that involves 13 drivers.
Yeah, if we have a 13-car crash here on lap 10 out of 40, it would be a pretty sorry rest of the race, I think.
So I know, Chris, you have a lot more experience than I do in open wheel racing and Carb Cup etiquette. And
man, I don't know about that. I don't know if I'd say I have more experience in open wheel racing because I've done it a little bit, but like I do not know what these cars are doing other than in dirty air getting tight and whatnot. I never could get my arms wrapped around this race car when I tried to run a season in that Warriors for Peace IndyCar series. And it's a real thinking man's game. You got to know exactly how much fuel you need and get no more fuel than that. That's all out the window tonight. This is straight up. This is something that I think you or I could figure out how to do and how to make moves and how to run at the front in this race, Carlos. This is a lot like Daytona or Talladega.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that. Yeah. Because my question was like, how often do we see like a massive like crash, like we would see at like a Cup or Daytona or Talladega style race, or is that just something that it doesn't really happen too often? A lot of these drivers are actually pretty cool. We got a pitter. Yeah, that's oh no, my race pick Jesper's gone down pit road in the number 55 machine, and well, good thing I'm not putting any money on that because our car is, he did not get a black flag, but he's just down pit road. And I expect these cars to be able to make it 40 laps.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he pitted. Not sure if he lost part of his wing, had some kind of issue. But back to what you asked about the wrecks. We'll see a big wreck tonight at some point. It might not be until we're coming to the checkered flag, but with these cars having as much drag on them as they have, the big runs we see, at some point tonight we will see a pack accident. Now, as far as the actual IndyCar series, with all that horsepower and the downforce levels and whatnot, it's just too hard to run packed up like this. You'll see it on Thursday when you're watching and everybody tunes in to watch the Warriors for Peace Indianapolis 500. They'll be strung out and about half a second behind the car in front of them, so we won't see them packed up like this on Thursday.
I want to give a very quick, massive shout out to P1 Broadcasting for sponsoring the whole of this year's or tonight's Carb Cup festivities. So shout out to P1 Broadcasting. I'm going to be putting in some of the social media stuff on the YouTube channel here momentarily. Check them out.
Here we go, 3 wide, looking for the lead. That is Hunter Smith taking the lead from Chad Frankenfield. Got Osborne right there. Hibbs has climbed his way up here inside the top 5. Seth Rawls, Ethan Stanley trying to recover from the contact he had a couple laps ago. Once again, Chad with a big run. And you see these big runs coming from mid-pack back. Like they get huge runs. Everybody's trying to lay off a little bit, get a gap, and then pull out with a ton of momentum. And one thing you're starting to see here too, if you watch through the corner, the guys are starting to push a good bit on the bottom running behind somebody. We are about approaching halfway. We're about 5-6 laps from halfway, so you're going to start seeing these guys looking for cleaner air, trying to get a little bit lower or a little bit higher. You're going to start seeing guys who see that and realize what's happening, trying to close off that air. So it will be real interesting to see who has done a good job of saving tire here for the rest of this race. And there you've seen it right there. Our front 3 cars all went through there a little bit poked out. He had to follow Chad through there, and you saw him push. That could have very easily been a wreck. So that is something that's going to be happening here. We're going to start losing. Oh, wrecking Chad Frankenfield.
Oh, my goodness.
That's half the field. At least half the field are wrecked down here in turn 1.
That was a hard hit. First caution's out for the night, and oh my gosh.
Gavin Hibbs right there.
That car is done.
I believe Josh Osborne was also in. It might be easier to talk about who wasn't in it.
Check out the Mark J. Rivales photography replay. Unfortunately, I don't have that graphic loaded up. Right? See what happens.
So lots of moving here. Ooh, did Chad move left on him and then... Is that what happened? Did Chad move left right there?
Ooh, let's take a looky here. We're on board. We're not on board. Excuse me. We're focusing on Chad. Let's get the chopper cam out here. We'll slow it down when we get close to the incident.
So he pulls up here and then he pulls.
Yeah.
They both pulled at each other. They were both pulling at each other. So that's Chad. I'm not sure who's in that black car. The third place car gets a piece of it.
I see Gavin Hibbs down pit road as well. I'm assuming that was maybe Gavin Hibbs. Yep. Oh, more cars.
So we got Chad Frankenfield in this wreck.
Joshua Osborne, Gavin Hibbs, Chad Frankenfield, and I think there was another one involved that maybe didn't really get too much. But yeah, those are
Josh Osborne's in it pretty heavy.
Hmm?
There's Gavin Hibbs getting into it pretty good.
Here's Josh Osborne's car angle.
Oh, Seth Rawls, lots of damage to Seth Rawls as well.
Can't even turn the car even if you wanted to. Everyone is down Pear Road, but we're going to take a look at our replay here again. From different points, we only have 12 cars on the lap when this incident took place, so might as well take a look at a lot of them.
I'll tell you this, Ethan Stanley got lucky right there with that wreck as well.
How
Super
Seth
lucky.
didn't get significant damage out of that, I will not know.
Oh, Seth's killed. Look at that wheel. He's killed.
Let's take a look here from Nick DeGroot. We'll slow it down when the incident happens.
And what else is happening here? Presley Soares getting his laps back. This is just for fun.
Oh man,
he
was
goes
that
through
he
him.
netcode
He
through
goes
that?
through him. Wow. That's incredible.
He does have some suspension damage. I can already tell because you can already see the when he goes to the straight, the wheel is kind of pointed on angled just a little bit to the right. You see that right there?
That could be his offset though.
Oh yeah, you're right. Does that show offset?
It does. Let's take a look at some other guys we know who missed it. What does Ethan Stanley
okay.
have on?
Well, let's see. Akash Rajesh was there. He was right in front of it.
Feels a little bit offset.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I think he's all right.
Same thing with let's take a look. Let's take a look at Mark Robidas.
Mark's way back here. He's gonna miss it.
Yeah, a little bit of a separation.
He
was able to make it work. Yeah.
Mark gets slowed down, sees the cars. By the time Mark gets there, it's over.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a moment now. By the way, Jesper Orman, I believe that's how you say your last name. I apologize. Is your current race leader here? Remember, he went down Pear Road unexpectedly a couple laps ago. That's my race pick. Currently leading the pack.
We got A-Cash up here in second, Hunter Smith, Nick DeGroot, Ethan Stanley, Mark Rebelos, Michael Hosick, Chris Albrecht, and Seth Rawls are our lead lap cars.
How about we
Seth
pay
is
some
trying
bills?
to fix.
Yeah,
Seth is trying to fix the damage. But yeah, that sounds good. Let's throw it to a commercial break, pay some bills, and come back and bring you green flag action here in the second half.
3 years of sellout crowds, 3 years of edge of your seat action, 3 years of jaw-dropping finishes. Worldwide Technology Raceway has rocked the world of NASCAR, and now NASCAR is giving us another reason to celebrate. The 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship playoffs are coming Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Go to www.traceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Since 2010, race fans have had one burning question. When will the Xfinity Series return to Worldwide Technology Raceway? You asked, NASCAR delivered. On Saturday, September 6, 2025, the magic is back. We're going to introduce you to a new crop of future champions and Hall of Famers, and we'll create more of the greatest moments in racing history. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
I think they're going to go this time too, so you got like a minute and a half.
And well, with Chris talking there, welcome back everybody. Chris, I didn't even get a chance to warn you saying that we're going to be going hot there. But hey, all right, well, they're adding laps under caution so that everybody has a chance to come back to this race. This is a fun race tonight. It's going to suck if a lot of these drivers are stuck one or multiple laps down. So everyone's getting the free pass if they're able to. So I don't want to bore you with some more commercials. So let's thank all of our Premier Series sponsors. Want to thank Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand towards victory lane. Don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big. Also, shout out to Worldwide Technology Raceway, which we'll shout out properly a little bit later because the pace car is off. We're going back green. Chris, take it away.
That is right. The green flag is coming back out. The field's still getting caught up here behind the pace car. Here comes Chad Frankenfield with the big run. He chooses to lift and stay behind the field. Starting a single file. Everybody's going to be building these monster runs down the back just like we seen at the start of the race. New tires. All that stuff I said about tire wear. Whoa, we got... Not sure what we got there. He's going to keep the lead.
I don't know.
I'm not sure what that was, but... It worked. That tells me that these cars have a ton of downforce to go down there, run wide open on the flat.
Yeah, I'm here thinking it's like, well, is he penalized? Did something break? But like, no, that was just him trying to get a competitive advantage. Uh-oh, Ethan Stanley's having connection issues.
Oh, somebody just about hit the pit wall. And Chad Frankenfield's coming down pit road once again.
Yeah, that car is evil looking.
Well, some might say the driver scares him too, so. Oh, Ethan Stanley has dropped so that is unfortunate for Stanley.
That's a
This
real
race has
shame.
been very, very chaotic. And we're only just a little bit past halfway. So they go 3 wide down into 1. Nick to the lead. Hunter Smith in second. Jasper to third. 4-car breakaway here at the front of this field. With only, what, I guess 8 cars here on the shop.
Nick DeGroot just ran the fastest lap of this session so far. And surprisingly, you know, with less cars, I guess either trying to catch up or having less cars just makes the speed of all these drivers overall faster. But Nick DeGroot, new personal best, new race best with a 43.735.
Well, I think what it is it's a little bit less chaotic with less cars. You would be faster with more cars if you were all pulling the rope in the same direction. A lot of what we see on the stock car side is guys get in line and kind of pull together. Everybody's been kind of going for themselves, and so with just 4 cars there as a breakaway, I mean, 5th on back still trying to close that gap, and they can't do it. So just 4 cars, you're kind of pulling the same direction whether you want to or not.
Ethan Stanley back out on track.
What he is hoping for is to try to latch onto the back of this group. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Don't think he's got the momentum up that he is going to need to be able to stay with these guys. And unfortunately for Ethan, Chad Frankenfield is not part of this group anymore. And so the odds of the caution are greatly diminished.
Yeah, with
Carlos?
Yeah, let me go ahead and get a bar graph here going. This is a percentage of caution per lap of race. Okay, so this first graph here so far, or I should say, this is the percentage of caution, and has now dipped all the way down with Chad gone. And Chad was there for a second, but now he's gone, so now it's fully gone. This peaked at 100%. All right,
I'm dying laughing over here with this Chad graph. This is great. I think this Chad graph needs to stay with us every week.
Chad, there we go. Chad DNF. And then it peaked around here, or it bottomed out around here, around 0%. That's the caution percentage.
You have to talk to Robert and see about getting this Chad graph every week, based on where Chad's running, the percentage of the chance we have of Chad causing a caution. I feel like if Chad's at the front, it would be what, 50-50, versus if he's like 15th or 16th, you're probably looking at.
If Chad's leading, the percentage of caution, I would say, is probably around 35, and then it peaks when he's like in the top 10, and right after he gets like sent to the back for whatever reason.
You know.
Meanwhile, in the front, Jasper Orman, guy I picked to win this race, looking high, wide, and handsome so far. As it's him, DeGroot, and Rajesh, who have pulled away by almost over a second over 4th place Albrecht, who is actually is battling or being challenged by Michael Hossack for that 4th place position. Advantage going to Hossack going to turns 1 and 2.
That's right, Hossack trying to take that spot in that light blue machine. I'm not sure if that's a throwback. I know we see some Jeff Gordon throwbacks on that car from time to time. I believe it is. That is a Pepsi. That's a throwback to a car that Jeff ran, I believe, in 2014, maybe.
That looks like the 2015 car. And you know what? I've run that paint scheme. I think. I don't know if this is the custom one, but I've run Jeff Gordon's 2015 paint scheme on this car. Back when, in the very few times I've done this, I've driven in this car.
I'm going to go ahead and say it too, and this is going to offend some of our guys who are watching this for open with stuff. Jeff Gordon, the best driver to ever make laps around this speedway. I don't hear anybody arguing, so that sounds good to me.
I'm a huge Jeff Gordon fan, but if you're like talking about anybody in general or just anybody in the Cup car?
I'm talking anybody in general. I think Jeff Gordon's the best guy to ever take laps around here, and that's over top of, you know, the Castro Neveses of the world and the Andretti's. You know, they're great drivers, but
I'm a huge Jeff Gordon fan, but I don't know enough about other forms of motorsports for me to back you up on that one.
But right now he is needing a little bit. I think they're trying to swap to pull each other forward.
Using the old Gran Turismo 5 tactic.
Yeah, but it's not working. They're losing time. They're getting further
I
and
would
further
expect
away.
so. Yeah. It only worked in GT5 because that was a broken game on ovals.
Well, we see it work from time to time on iRacing when they're able to time it out right, but I mean, their timing's getting better. They're not losing time like they were, but I still don't. It's not perfect, and they're not close enough to get a toe to pull them either. So maybe they're in the boat of hoping for a caution, but the odds of us getting a caution, like I said, without Chad, dwindled right up that graph. But now it's, you know, we've got 3-4 different packs out here, if you want to call it packs. You got these 3, and then you got 2. And then Mark and Hunter are just running around by themselves, making laps around the speedway.
So, excuse me. I guess I need some water myself. We got just under 9 laps remaining here in this race. This race is gonna go by quickly. We had that incident, and in reality, that incident kind of stretched this race out a lot longer than we all thought it would, because of the fact that what's it called? We had to keep on delaying the cautions. Not that we're tight on time. We have plenty of time. 9:35 is when the next race, the Hoosier 50, is supposed to take place.
It won't take place without us, though, I promise.
Oh, yeah. Specifically us. It's not going to take place until the broadcast crew has been well fed. We get a box of wine, and we're good to go for the next race.
I don't think we're going to get that. We've been pretty hard on Chad during this broadcast. I think we're doing lucky if we get a ride over there to Lucas Oil at this point.
We've been hard on Chad, but we've been great with P1 Broadcasting. And P1 Broadcasting fans, or people who are interested in checking them out, because remember, they are sponsoring all of today's festivities. I went ahead and put some of their social media links down on the YouTube description, since I was not able to put it physically on chat. YouTube doesn't like links on there, as I found out the hard way. My account has been permanently banned from YouTube now. For legal purposes, I have to specify that was a joke. I went ahead and put on their socials links there on the YouTube description. So feel free to check them out. They're a great company. Get a quote. Check out their websites. Check out their Linktree, their YouTube, their Twitter, and you see everything they have to offer. Because I've seen some of the stuff, and it is great.
I'll tell you what, these front 3 are coming up on a lap car here. I'm not sure who it is that they are coming up on. Might be Seth?
It is Seth Rawls. Yeah. Just because a lot of these drivers who were involved in the incident got their laps back doesn't necessarily mean their cars are still good on competition. I think Seth, I think with Seth, he may have a good car. It's just that once everybody was back on the lead lap, I think we just went green. Didn't allow everybody to fully catch back up. Which, honestly, I think is a fair compromise. So he's going to lap down. We're going to see if he can hitch it right there in the back. I think the speed difference was too much. Maybe with Chris Albrecht and Michael Hossack, who are there battling, maybe they can drag him along, become 3 cars. Or
Chad has dropped from the session.
Oh, man. Well, it's 7:10. I think the next session has opened up, so he's probably already moved on over to Lucas Oil Raceway. It's Lucas Oil Raceway, yeah. Can't remember the name. The name has changed so many times since we had a battle for the lead. Jesper's back out on top. Akash has now dropped to 2nd, and hit the Groot still currently in 3rd.
So these front 3 are going to settle it. Your pick is still here. My pick had to go to the garage and come back. Nick the Groot's still out here. We got 3 guys out here with the shot to win this thing. These 3 might wreck each other. We might be talking about that 24 versus 8 as a battle for the win here in the last 100 yards, but we'll see how nice these guys want to play it.
On board
Riding
here with
on
Nick the
board
Groot.
here. And we saw how lucky he was to miss that wreck here. I'll tell you what's helping out too. If you look back there at the back of your screen, that 24 and 8, they got a tow from Seth. That's going to help them get some momentum. Can they keep that momentum up and keep closing the gap to the front?
Well, no, Seth isn't there anymore.
Yeah, they drafted off of him down the back, and he pulled out of the way.
Okay.
Are they still behind him? They might still be right behind him. No, they just passed.
No. Yeah, Seth is not a part of this, but they are moving and grooving for that race lead so far. Nick the Groot has gone from 3rd all the way to 1st.
That's right, but big run. Can he keep the lead?
I guess can he win is a better question, because nobody can really keep the lead here with them going 3 wide for the lead there for a second. Jasper's back out on top momentarily. The question is, who's going to be able to time it correctly? Who's going to be leading? Now, Chris, do you want to be leading on the white flag? I wouldn't think so.
I don't want to be leading until after we pass pit entry on the white flag. I want to be pulling out about right here to make a move to win the race.
Yeah, right now, I think all of these top 3 front runners, I think they're just testing out when to make the right move. Seth Rawls got a black flag. He went down Pier Road a little too quick.
That is not ideal, and we're seeing right here these back 2 trying to close the gap, but they had knocked it down to about 2.5 seconds, and now it's really fallen by the wayside for these 2.
Yeah, they really just need a 3rd driver.
Yeah, Seth helped pull them up there a little bit when they got that tow, but then as soon as he was going, they went right back to losing that time. We will see the white flag this time. We're going to see how everybody wants to position themselves here. It looks like he's given... Nobody wants to lead. You see that right there?
Yeah,
that
nobody wants to lead.
Everybody not wanting to lead the race right there. They all lifted. As crazy as that sounds, they all just lifted down the front stretch, except for Nick. Nick said, I'll go ahead and put myself out front. Here we go. Big run building back. Nobody's pulling out. These guys are going to... Oh, nope. Here we go. We got one pulling out.
Jasper in
Nick's
the white car.
Protect. Nick chooses to protect on that inside. Man,
oh, Jasper in the wall!
And contact into the side of Nick. Nick's going to come back.
Oh, no!
And they're going to wreck out of turn 4.
And Jasper's going to win this race!
With Hosek in second. It almost came true when I told you about those 2 racing for the win. They ended up running 2nd and 3rd.
That's not the way that Jasper wants to win it, and I'm sure Nick the Groot and Akash are not happy campers right now, as Nick is gonna try to lip it home, but I think that's as far as it goes. Wow, what a finish there for that first race.
Wow. That is wow. So it's already happened here. I think we need to go back into turn 3 and look at the contact that knocked Nick down. Because that got Nick down on the apron. So they're going to come off of here. And the unfortunate thing is the white car knocks him down.
Oh, that was Netco too. Hold on. Whoa.
And so I think Nick was trying to come back up and make sure that the guy who hit him didn't win. But what he did is he won the race for Jasper.
I got something closer here, a chopper camera. So you're gonna see Jasper here go high, wide, and a little too handsome into the wall, and then I don't know if it was reaction or netcode. I'm leaning towards netcode, and honestly, Nick, at this point, I mean, I'm gonna do the same thing. Gonna mash the gas through the inside. Hope it sticks. It did not stick enough, and unfortunately, it took out both him and the cash. And well, that's just not the way any of these drivers wanted it to go down. Here's the catch point of view.
He's running here in 3rd, sees the contact, says, oh, I'm going to take this. I'm going to try to win the race.
Ugh.
And there comes Nick. And here we go for the ride of our lives.
And Jasper just won the race. Just like that. I'm going to see if maybe they're going to pull on up here into the YouTube chat. Looks like they are not, and that's fair. But wow, what a fun first race. Let me let's go ahead and pull up the race results here. That's the wrong button. My bad. This this is my theme, so I should know how to use this. Here it is. All right, the Freedom 100 race results. Remember, brought to you by P1 Broadcasting. Jasper Orman won tonight's race after Netcode shoved Nick DeGroot down all the way into the access road. And when he merged back up, Acosta was right in his path. So Jesper winning, Michael Hossack finishing in second, Chris Albrecht in third, Mark Robiles finished fourth. That was your pick. Fifth is Presley Sora.
I was rooting for Mark, but I picked Stanley and he liked that.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah. We're gonna say you picked Mark. Presley Sora in fifth, Hunter Smith finished this in sixth, Akash seventh, Nick DeGroot eighth, Ethan Stanley got a ninth, and Seth Rawls, even though he finished a couple laps down, ended up getting a nice solid top 10 finish. Chad Frankenfield finished in 11th place, Gavin Hibbs 12th, 13th is Joshua Osborne, and AJ Hobson wasn't able to start tonight's race, had, I believe, a mechanical issue or electrical issue that was preventing him from starting. So what a pretty fun start to tonight's race, and we're gonna head and take a bit of a break as we start setting ourselves up for race number 2. So we will be back here momentarily.
And welcome back here to Indianapolis, where we have caught up with our winner of the Freedom 100. Jasper has joined us. Talk to us about the race you ran there. You had to dodge that big wreck at about the halfway point, and then ultimately had to dodge a little bit more of a wreck there on the last lap, and you won the thing. So talk to us about the race you ran, where you wanted to be there on that last lap, and how you managed to dodge both wrecks.
Yeah, I mean, the first wreck I already pitted, so I wasn't near the wreck. Just figured I might pit myself and just stay out of all the trouble that might occur. And then for the last lap, I mean, it's a very interesting setup and a very interesting type of race. And you want to be third here. So basically, I came onto the last lap in the lead, but I backed off because I want to be third. And then the back stretch there, I tried to go to the middle, put the pedal to the metal, but didn't quite make the corner there. I hit the wall, and unfortunately, I think I was trying to hug the wall there. Came down a little bit. Might have been some net code there with I think it was Nick. So he had to go to the apron, and I mean, there's a very strange end to the race there where he collect the guy in front of me, and like I'm all alone on the front stretch. A bit weird, like shades of 2011, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
we looked at it a couple times. We physically did not see any contact between you and Nick. Whether it was netcode or Nick kind of jerking it down to like not like hit you, we don't know. I'm thinking it's just netcode, but at least on broadcast side, there wasn't any contact there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a bit sorry. Like, Nick is such a good driver. He is hyper aware of his surroundings. He probably knew that I was going to be in trouble there, and he, well, didn't want to get collected, so it's completely understandable. He goes to the apron there. So yeah, a little bit my fault. It happens. I hope that he'll have a much better race on Thursday.
Well, you mentioned that you were going to be jumping out of here, going to bed. You're not going with us over here to the short track to run this sprint car race. So are there any sponsors you want to thank, shout outs you want to give, and are you looking forward to Thursday there for the Indianapolis 500?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm starting P19. I'm looking forward to cut my way through the field and make it up front. At least I hope that's what's going to happen. It's going to be tough. But hey, thanks to Chad and you guys for putting this together. 500-mile race at Indy. That's always something special and always fun.
All right, Jasper, congrats on the win. Get some good sleep, and we'll be watching there on Thursday.
Yeah, by the way,
Thanks,
Jasper,
guys.
you were my race pick to win, and I'm glad. Congrats, man. Congrats on the win. And enjoy that sleep.
A bit lucky today, but hey ho.
All right, well, Chris, that was Jasper, and we're gonna be taking a bit of a break. We're not gonna be here rambling on, boring you guys for the rest of the practice session here. We have like 25 minutes, 23 minutes. We'll be back when I think during the qualifying period. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish out getting paid, y'all, by talking about our Premier Series sponsors. Now, we did already talk about Blue Egg Marketing. We also want to give a shout out to Worldwide Technology Raceway. They are a motorsports racing facility in Madison, Illinois, just east of St. Louis, Missouri. It features a 1.25 mile oval that hosts the NASCAR Cup Series, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and the NTT IndyCar Series. They have a 2-mile infield road course used by the Speed Tour Trans Am, SCCA, and the Porsche Club of America. There is also a 1/4-mile NHRA sanctioned drag strip that hosts the annual NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series Midwest Nationals event. And finally, they have the Carplex, a state-of-the-art karting facility. Shout out to Worldwide Technology, and don't forget, they're gonna have they already have tickets on sale now for next year. We're gonna have a commercial about that coming up soon. Shout out to 4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D sim racing shoes are custom engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, and still provide all the comfort needed for those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com. That's the number 4, the letter D, racewear.com altogether, and check out the original racing gloves for your feet. All right, so that's gonna do. I'm gonna play a commercial featuring Worldwide Technologies upcoming 2025 tickets for. Well, we'll play a commercial. We'll let that play out. So we'll be back here in about 21 minutes. So once the commercial ends, feel free to go grab a snack, get some water. We're still going to be live. We'll just be listening, jamming out to some royalty-free music, hopefully, unless we got those scalpers pretending to be the owners.
3 years of sellout crowds.
commercial.
3 years of edge of your seat action. 3 years of jaw-dropping finishes. Worldwide Technology Raceway has rocked the world of NASCAR. And now, NASCAR is giving us another reason to celebrate. The 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship playoffs are coming. Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Just when you thought the racing couldn't get any more intense, now every single lap matters. One wrong move could be the difference between elimination and being crowned the king. The Enjoy Illinois 300, the Confluence Music Festival, the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, and for the first time in 15 years, the NASCAR Xfinity Series on Saturday, September 6th. Don't be on the outside looking in. See history being made in your own backyard. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Since 2010, race fans have had one burning question. When will the Xfinity Series return to Worldwide Technology Raceway? You asked, NASCAR delivered. On Saturday, September 6, 2025, the magic is back. The track that launched the legendary careers of Harvick, Busch, Keselowski, Edwards, and Earnhardt Jr. is now ready to write that next chapter. We're going to introduce you to a new crop of future champions and Hall of Famers. And in the process, we'll create more of the greatest moments in racing history. NASCAR Weekend 2025, the NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs, the Confluence Music Festival, and now 250 miles of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 2 incredible races, 1 challenging track, a 3-day party of epic proportions. Go to www.raceway.com and lock in your weekend racing and camping packages for as little as $20 down.
All right, welcome back, race fans. We have already started qualifying here. As right now, it's just gonna be me for a little bit. Chris has stepped out; he's taking care of some stuff. He should be joining us here momentarily, but we have already moved on just a little bit off of the racetrack here at Lucas Oil. And, well, we got ourselves some very fast-looking sprint cars. We dropped a couple of drivers. I think we have about 9 drivers here tonight for the Hoosier 50. It should be a very quick, very fun race here indeed. As, well, with just a couple minutes left, let's not spoil who is starting where so far. But what I can do is talk about tonight's fantastic sponsor, P1 Broadcasting. Alright, they are, get right here, they are an esports broadcaster specializing in online IndyCar style sim racing on the iRacing platform. Broadcast home to the Internet Sim Racing Association, Dark Horse Racing Series, Formula Indy Series, Votive Racing League Indy Oval Series, the E-Grand Prix Racing Series, the iRacing IndyCar Oval Series Top Split, and the IndyCar iRacing Series, and the future home of much more. From them, catch their broadcast teams also on the Elite Racing Network IndyCar Series and the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series broadcast as well. As I mentioned earlier, their socials, their links, I went ahead and put it on the description to check them out because YouTube doesn't like links. So check out the YouTube description to find out where you can check out some more. Chris, heard you are back. I heard you went to go get some snacks. Would you bring me anything back?
Man, I wish I could give you some of what I was out there snacking on and what I was messing with. We had breakfast for dinner tonight, and
Ooh.
there was some left, some great sausage out there, so...
Now you're actually making me hungry.
Unfortunately for you, I can't give it to you.
So you know what's funny is that I thought we had more time because I was basing it off of practice time. So I went and started getting myself a quick little dinner going because I'm hungry. And then I look at my phone and it's a text message from Chad asking me if we're ready. And I'm like, are we ready? Ready for what? And then I look at the time and it hit me. It's like, we need to go now. So I just dropped what I was doing.
Yeah, I thought we had a little bit more time too, and I saw your message come through. I was like, all right, I'm here.
Ooh, that's right, because I'm gonna have to reload the overlay for this. As we've transitioned on over to a new lobby, but the drivers haven't fully been cleared out yet here in the cache. So I'm gonna see if maybe, hopefully, just by doing that, that'll clear that information. And it does. There we go.
2 for 2 on pulls too.
Wow.
Hopefully this goes a little better than the last start did.
All right. So new race. Same drivers, almost. New picks. Who do you have winning this second race here tonight, the Hoosier 50?
Well, I'm trying to think. I don't know of any of these guys who are sprint car aces, but it's so tough because we run these things once a year, every year on Carb Day. And so it's so tough to know who's going to be good. I'm going to take I'll roll with Ethan Stanley again.
I'm going to go with a risky pick. I think Chad Frankenfield's going to get this one done. I really do.
We'll
I'm not being ironic. I think this is Chad Frankenfield's race. Lights are off. We should be going here green for the first time. And as always, the Chad percentage of caution graph is peaking at an all-time high of 100%. We'll let you know where that caution percentage is at a little bit later as the race goes on.
Yeah, we'll try to keep some active odds of that. But I will say this: everybody who's out there who might think we're being too hard on Chad, We kid because we care. You know, Chad can take a joke, and we're all about having fun, and that's what this day's all about, is having fun. It's the way we got everybody back on the lead that last race. Pace car is off as we are getting ready to go green here for the sprint car event. Green is out.
Oh,
And
Chad's
this
in the
race will
wall.
be over. Oh, man. Not a great start there for Chad. We almost didn't get an opportunity to really get going with that.
Oh
Chad
no,
grab.
Ralph, caution's out! 54 got turned by Chad Frankenfield, and on the lid he goes. Oh man, oh, that was unfortunate.
And I think, aren't they teammates? Hunter Smith, Chad Frankenfield. That's teammates, right?
Well, let's take a look at the replay and see what happened to Hunter Smith.
Oh, man. I think Chad's gonna try to. He gets a big run, tries to pull left to pass him, and he just hits him. Just turns him.
And that's
If we take
significant damage to that 54.
Can we get like a different shot there just to confirm the contact?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, let me.
Chad is saying he didn't hit him, but
I mean, I don't know what else could have.
Yeah, just a big run. Chad doesn't pull out in time and just turns it. Chad's asking what Hunter's damage is at. I don't know.
It's not
Does
good.
Chad not realize he was upside down?
Let's recap where the usually the percentage of caution is at normally compared to where Chad is. The lowest it usually is without Chad DNFing is 35, and that's only when Chad is leading the race. When Chad is in the top 5, top 10, it's at an all-time high of like 100%. A little bit towards the middle, it drops around 75, 80%, and when he's freshly off any issue that sends him towards the back, it's right back up at 100%.
Yeah, so Chad messed up there on the front stretch, and so then
Look at that.
Yeah.
That is
that's broken.
He
Right there.
did
That's
have a
what that is.
meatball. He did have a meatball. We are still not going green yet, so let's take a different look. The gearbox hammer here. This is from Hunter Smith's onboard.
Man. That's bad. That's rough, you know. Like we are being pretty hard on Chad tonight, and we're doing it out of fun and out of love and out of care. But man, oh man, we can't make this up. You know this. We had the Chad graph there in the Freedom 100, and we pick up right where we left off. Not 10 seconds into this race, and Chad is already. And that's a teammate. I'm pretty sure him and Hunter are teammates.
I don't think they're teammates here. I think everyone here is for themselves. Pace car is off.
If I'm Hibbs in third, I'm kind of recognizing who's behind me. I'm trying to protect right now. Protect my race car, not the position. As we are getting ready to go green once again. Green is out. Everybody gets rolling. Presley gets way out in the way. Ethan Stanley trying to stay just as close as he can. And we got Hibbs and we got Chad, Seth Rawls. Got Mark back there, Nick. Hunter Smith still sitting on pit road trying to fix the damage from where he was upside down. And you see here, everybody getting strung out now. Nobody even keeping up with Chad. Out the back of Chad, Seth's got a big gap. Seth's taking no chances about getting caught up in the next wreck that the 15 may or may not cause. Ethan trying to close up, and you're seeing these guys run way high instead of around the bottom, and you would think on a short track you'd want to run right around the bottom, but this place has a little bit of progressive banking, so you're going to run up that racetrack, especially on new tires, get that big run. And I don't know anything about these sprint cars. I don't know if they're wide open, close to wide. I have no idea. I don't think they're wide open looking at trap time here. I'm pretty sure they're using some brakes, so. Chad trying to take a look here for third. Hibbs trying to give him a lot of room. Chad's going to throw it down in there with a little bit of a slider. Hibbs going to pull back underneath him. working lap 10 here of 50. Chad's going to take third. Hibbs is going to keep trying to work the bottom, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything.
Yep, Chad now has sole possession of that third place position. There's a little bit of a gap forming between second and third, but the gap between first and second is closing up and heating up as Presley Zora and Ethan Stanley are now trying to battle there for that position. Well, let's take a look here at the last couple of laps here, including Chad's laps. And we're going to see Ethan Stanley has been gunning down Sora. Not by a lot, obviously, but, you know, the speeds that these guys are going, little things matter. Although I think this time by it might go to Sora. Let's take a look, and it does. Yeah, actually, Stanley lost a significant amount of time, and Chad's actually been gunning both of them down.
Yeah, and Stanley's going to the bottom, trying to get out there and see if he can make his car turn. Maybe he's getting a little tight. Not real sure. Chad's closing in here. That Jaws theme music's playing in the back of Hunter Smith, or excuse me, Hunter Smith. Ethan Stanley right now. He sees that 15 getting closer and closer. Chad's running that very top side once again, getting that big run off the corner. Closing in is Chad Frankenfield. Ethan's going to defend now. He goes up to the top. Chad trying to make this work on the bottom. What's our Chad graph at right now, Carlos?
Chad graph right now is actually at a respectable 85%. Oh,
is that 85%
oh, hold on.
chance we
Oh,
see
yeah, 85% chance of a caution. He just wiggled there, lost some time, so now it's actually moved up to about 90%. But if he can go a couple of laps, cool the tires down, and try to start chasing down Ethan, it'll drop down to around 75.
I love how you're talking about 75% chance of a caution as it's like a low number or something. Well, the race for the lead's heating up too. Ethan trying to pull low here and make a run at this lead. Making these laps here around Lucas Oil Raceway, and I'll tell you what, that inside line's getting better and better. Chad trying to get up there and pounce on whichever one of these guys is going to lose the momentum, and Presley trying to defend a little bit. Presley's running a little bit lower, trying to shut off that lane there, trying to make Ethan Stanley run through some dirty air.
Do we actually have dirty air here?
I mean, I would guess you got dirty air anywhere, right?
I mean, yeah, it's going to be some dirty air. And these cars, they don't necessarily scream aerodynamics. But I mean, they also don't have the wings.
Yeah, they don't have the wings. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm guessing by him trying to shut off that air, he's trying to do something. But he's also trying to protect the top. You don't want to give Ethan the top. You see right here, trying to... That flatter racetrack is going to help them turn the car. So that tells me they're getting tighter. And the tighter they get, the lower they'll be able to run, because the lower they can run. It works kind of like New Hampshire in a cup car, where you can kind of clip the apron, help the car turn. And so that's what we're seeing right here. And you see now they have went way down low. Presley missed the bottom. Tell you what, Ethan's being real careful with him. I think if this was 20 laps later in the race, Ethan would have stuck that in there. Presley's really starting to struggle.
Hunter Smith.
Chad's to his outside. Chad's to the outside.
Here we go.
Stanley now.
Yeah, I was saying Hunter Smith is in the YouTube chat saying it's all about the management, saying the temps matter a ton, and the more fuel, the faster the car is typically so harder on what? The more fuel, the faster the car. Caution's out. I'm seeing
is it Mark?
Chris Albrecht may have been involved in this one.
I'm going to tell you right now, Hunter Smith, if you're out there watching, feel free to come in here, talk to us for a minute.
Yeah, if you want to
field right now.
Yeah, if you want to bash your team owner for even a couple seconds, go for it. That's actually, well, Presley Sora going down Pier Road.
Well, I think we saw tires wear, and I think this is a good call. Get some new tires. Get yourself some new shoes.
I mean, we're almost at the halfway mark. This is around the same time we got the first caution at the Freedom 100. This is the second caution of the night. So it's him, Mark Rabidas down Pier Road, and Chris, who we saw had that issue. Let's see what happened to Chris.
Running here off the corner.
I don't.
Up into the fence.
Someone put glue on that wall. And when Chris went a little high, wide, and handsome and scraped the outside wall, those tires, the rubber dug in and it just grabbed that car.
And unfortunately, his night went from bad to worse here.
Went from bad to worse, but I think overall he may be okay. There's a little loosey-goosey action in the corner, and that's kind of what kind of like he ended up having to correct his car and go up to the outside wall. He is down pit road. He has lost a lap at this point. But, well, all that being said, Chad Frankenfield is now your race leader. Going to be restarting here, I think, just past the halfway mark.
Yeah, I believe they went 2 to green right there. And I believe we've got Hunter Smith in the waiting room.
Bring him on up.
So I think we'll have grab a word here. Hunter, typically we ask the questions, but you only got to run a half a lap tonight, and so we're just going to let the floor be yours here for the rest of this caution period.
Wrong button there. There's not much to talk about.
There's always not to talk about. Look, we got this Chad graph going on tonight, and if you could have seen it, you might have been a little bit more aware that you might have been in the danger zone right there.
Tell you what, I need to actually take a look at that. I heard you guys talking about it earlier. No, yeah. It's kind of a running joke in our team is about Chad, because about 2 years ago he took out I think it was last season, he took out Fortner under caution at Fontana. And he immediately goes, "What happened, Fort?" And then he did the same thing on that one.
Oh, so it was a joke. Oh, okay, we thought we thought he was just oblivious.
No, he actually was. I think he really was oblivious. He's done it a couple times. He did it to Fortner, and he's also crashed took three wide at Daytona.
Well, and maybe he has trouble. Maybe he needs some glasses or something. Maybe he has trouble seeing where the front of his car is actually at.
Maybe we might have to demote him. Maybe we'll have to talk to our owner over there, good old Ryan Schold, and see what he wants to do with it.
Well, right now he's leading. He's got Ethan Stanley right behind him. They're driving away from Soar there, who I believe just pitted and got tires, was able to restart in third. Do you think those tires are the call? Will that help him win the race? I know he said he filled it up with fuel as well.
Yeah, I mean, the tires aren't going to matter a whole lot. It's going to be really cold, really cool temps, but the key to this car is the less you use the gas, typically the better you're going to be. The heavier the car, the heavier the car, the more weight's on the rear end, because there is obviously no aero whatsoever. And if you look at the rear tires, they're so much bigger than the front ones, and they're the ones that do most of the work. So you really, I mean, you steer this car using the gas.
Well, and right now, Carlos has got our live numbers. Carlos, right now with Chad out front, what is the Chad graph looking like right now?
Right now, the percentage of a caution coming out with Chad leading this race is actually the lowest I've ever seen it in my life, 25%. And that's factoring in the amount of cars we have on track and how spaced out they are right now.
Well, right now, it looks like Presley's going to be up here trying to take this lead back, so we'll see what happens. Once they get side by side, is that number going to at least double?
Yeah, it goes immediately to 55%. And hold on, I'm crunching the numbers, doing the math. Chad doesn't want to give up this lead at all. It's actually gone up to 75%.
Oh man, this is great. Love the work there, Carlos. The Chad graph. Hopefully, we can get that thing to stick around for all the races that Chad runs. I'm sure Chad is just gonna love watching this back later, listening to it right now. I'm sure Hunter might tell him all about it.
Oh yeah, this is gonna go down in history.
But right now, Chad's doing a great job leading this thing with 20 laps left. He's got Presley right behind him, Ethan Stanley there in third. Hunter, before we let you jump out of here and prepare for the next race after this one, we'll let you shout out your sponsors, anybody you want to thank, and give us your pick to win this battle here for these last 20 laps.
No, just a fair disclaimer for Chad. We do enjoy Chad. So I mean, as much as we talk crap about him, we're happy to have him on our team. As much as he tears things up and it costs a lot of money, but I think Presley's going to win this. It looks like Chad's been running the outside a lot, and Presley's been kind of keeping his tires a little bit cooler. But you never know. This could go too wide, and you could see Stanley just snipe it here. You can really send it on this track.
Caution's up!
Contact with Chad and Presley, and I do not think Presley's going to win this now, Hunter.
I revised my pick. I'm going Mark Rebaz.
For a brief second, when they were side by side for a second time, Chad really didn't want to give up that lead. We saw 81% chance of caution, and unfortunately, caution came out as Frankenfield and Presley made contact, and Presley got the worst end of the stick here. So caution's out. We'll take a look at a replay here just a second. Joining us tonight in the booth as well is Three-Way TV legend Peter Short. Peter, how you doing tonight?
You know, Carlos, I'm doing pretty good. There's some great action out here on the racetrack tonight. And, you know, I was surprised you were crunching that number as we get this this replay. That 75% number. Well, you were accurate. I mean, caution did come out that battle for the race lead. We'll get one more look at it here off of turn number 4. And just a little bit of a coming together on the front stretch. I mean, these rear tires, they are so wide. Do you think the drivers might have just misgauged where those rear tires are relative to where the front tires are, which of course is kind of what they can see out the front of these cars?
I'm gonna say this. Chad kind of held his line. Presley got a little loose exiting that outside line, and it just came down a little bit, and that was enough for some netcode to happen. And unfortunately for Presley, he was the one that ended up going around and taking the brunt end of the damage. I don't think it's terminal, but it's definitely possibly knocked him out of a chance to win this race.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I don't know how these cars take damage. We still got Hunter with us. He hadn't quite got out of here yet and got to see Chad have another coming together. So how do you think that's going to be damage-wise there, Hunter, for this car?
Oh, that thing is probably going to the trailer.
Well, all right, Hunter. On that note, we will let you get out of here, prepare for that next race, and maybe put some Chad Stay Away logos on your car there for that next one.
You got it. I'll do that.
Well, boys, we're down to our last 15 laps here. We're still working this caution.
Yeah, we have.
It's going
I
to be
think
exciting.
we have
Yeah,
a couple
the big
drivers trying to
question-
get a lap back.
I think the big question, though, for this upcoming restart and the final 13 lap is how is Chad's car after that contact? You know, iRacing is a flip of a coin. If you get involved in an accident like that, sometimes your car is toast. Sometimes it's perfectly fine. So we'll see here once we go back to green whether Chad's car is good to go. This is a difficult racetrack to pass at, notably because of the variable banking that you see at this racetrack. And like we heard, you kind of turn with the gas. That can make it a little bit more difficult, but we'll see here as the pace car's off.
Yeah, the pace car is off, and if you don't already know, Peter, if Chad was driving a trash can and all these other guys were in F1 cars, Chad's going to be super defensive. So it doesn't matter what that car is, what kind of shape it's in. It's going to be like a dentist appointment, getting your teeth pulled there, trying to pass Chad. You see Ethan Stanley all over him, trying to make this pass happen. Ethan's going to run the bottom. They did get a chance to cool their tires, and Hunter seemed to think that was a really big deal, and we got to take his word for it because he was out here racing.
Yeah, Ethan running that bottom side of the racetrack where there's just not as much banking as that second groove on up. Getting some good rotation here through turn number 2. Not able to get the power down, and that's going to open the door for Hibbs on the top side. Hibbs now going to be able to use that banking to make the move for second, or did I speak a little bit too soon as they're side-by-side now for second. Coming down, 10 laps to go.
Yeah, side-by-side for second. Chad's loving this. This is going to give him an opportunity to open up his gap just a little bit, try to drive away, try to get away from these two guys. I think both of these guys might be a little bit better than Chad right now, but as long as they're battling side-by-side, they're not able to maximize their pace. Stanley's going to get clear. He is going to pull up there. How about that helmet there that Hibbs is wearing? I think that is Owen Wilson helmet right there, right? From the Cars movie. Owen, he's
Ka-chow.
way down there.
Yeah, he was all types of crossed up in turn number 2. Got way loose, but able to save it. There was a little bit of a gap back to the number 98 back behind him, so he's going to slot into third. But we'll keep our eyes on the battle for the race lead as the lap counter continues to wind down. And one thing to note, Stanley that last time by was just a little bit faster than Frankenfield. I mean, just a fraction of a second. We'll see what it's like at the line this time. A 20.24 to a 1.17, so another 700ths of a second, but the lap count is winding down, and of course catching
Caution,
them is
caution.
one thing, but passing is another, but a caution flag comes out. The 95 is around in turn number 2.
Yeah, and that we almost saw that coming there when he was all crossed up there a few laps ago. Oh, and who is this that's involved as well?
I see Gavin Hibbs, Seth Rawls, Presley
And the,
Sora, Nick
the
DeGroot.
98 also on pit road, missing a left front wheel. So something definitely
Oh my
happened. You'll have
gosh.
to get this one on the 3-wide TV replay. That sprint car is, well, it's the tricycle now. Let's get this replay and see what happened. Maybe a little bit of a coming together. Yep, right there, contact. And oh, the 98 up and over, up into the catch fence.
But Nick
Yikes,
gets
nowhere to go
involved.
for the 9.
And who was that spun in there? I don't think he hit anything.
May have been Chris Albert.
Here we are riding on board. They come together, and then not a ride you want to have.
No, and of course the gyro cam getting a workout here on 3-wide TV. That got bad in a hurry. These sprint cars, man, they're not messing around when they have a coming together. And unfortunately for the 95 of Hibbs, who was looking at a podium, that is going to be potentially night done. A lot of cars now sitting stricken on pit road, but that's going to set us up for, you know, a shootout to the finish here. And we saw Stanley on that last restart have probably the best chance of taking the lead coming out of turn number 2 on the first lap of the restart. He's going to have to do that and then some to try and win this one.
Yeah, and Gavin and Seth have both left the session. So they are done. We're going to get a restart here, and the next flag's going to end the race. There are no green-white checkers in this tonight. So we are going to have just a short little run, and we'll see what happens with 4 guys. Man, we got to be pulling for Mark, right? Mark is a guy that, if he could somehow pull this off, that might be the biggest win all year in anything when it comes to Elite.
Listen, you picked Mark. I picked Chad. I said this is his race to lose, and Chad is not going to give this one up. And also, we have an achievement here tonight. This is the first time we've had a caution that Chad was not involved in.
I'm sure Chad is going to love that statistic when this thing's all over.
Yeah, remember, when he's leading, it's at an all-time low that isn't 0%. But, you know, even if it's at 1%, there's still a chance. And the caution came out.
Yeah, and the good news is the pace car lights are off, so we are going to get set to go back racing with a 2-lap shootout here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Well, we'll get to figure out exactly who's going to go to victory lane in the second race here tonight, as the green flag is out there on the loud pedal early. Frankenfield tried to get a big jump.
And he got a big jump. Ethan got a big jump, and I think Mark's just going to sit there in third. And we saw it in the first race there. We saw it in the Freedom 100. The front 3 guys, 2 of them wrecked in the last corner, so this could happen again. Chad and Ethan, 2 aggressive guys, 2 guys who both want to win a race here, and we'll see what happens here as they have return 1 with 1 lap to go. Chad with a big defensive maneuver. He's going to let Ethan get to his top. Ethan's trying to work the top. Chad takes it away. Ethan's going to turn underneath him. We are going to be side by side, heading for turn 3. Ethan couldn't get the drive off. It's going to have to be a big sin, nearly make contact, but Ethan respected him. Chad is going to get the win. Stanley second. Mark's going to come home third. And Nick DeGroot will come home fourth.
Yeah, some good, respectful driving here at the end of that one, as Frankenfield already doing burnouts on the backstretch here at Lucas Oil Raceway. A good finish there. I mean, I was really surprised. Stanley trying to do the over-under there in turn number 1 and 2 on the white flag lap. Almost able to make it stick, just not quite able to get up alongside Frankenfield, as Frankenfield takes the win. Stanley in second, Mark in third, Nick DeGroot fourth, Seth Rawls in fifth, and then all the other cars involved in accidents here. And, you know, the number 54 involved in that really early accident that we had on the backstretch, well, was able to make it back out there on the racetrack to have a little bit of fun here in the Hoosier 50. But we got more action upcoming after this one.
Yeah, I believe our night is half over at this point. We've got 2 down and I believe 2 to go, right, Carlos?
Yeah, that is correct. Coming up next here tonight is going to be still the rest of these races are going to take place here at the same track. We're done with Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We are going to the Freedom 50, and that is going to involve the USF 2000s here at 8:45 p.m. So yeah, we're gonna see if chat's gonna hop on. If he does, we're gonna give it a oh, here comes the man of the hour. He would not be challenged, or I should say, he would not give up that position. And Chad Frankenfield emerges victorious here tonight for the Hoosier 50. And I'll say, Chris, why don't you go ahead and take it away and ask him some of the hard hitting questions you have.
Oh, we got hard hitting questions all over the place, but I think the odds of a caution just went up big time up here in the booth. So we'll have to try to make sure everybody stays safe up here. But Chad, talk to us about your race here and about your night in general and what you're looking forward to here the second half of the night.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I mean, we're just kind of getting ready for the 500 on Thursday. It's kind of an elite tradition now to kind of run these races, so it's just kind of neat to put it together. But, yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's a good time. I've only won one of the sprint car races, so it's kind of cool to get another win. It's hard. I mean, it is extremely challenging. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to win in this car, and even when you think you have it, it just can be taken away. So, I don't know what I guess I don't know what happened on the start there with me and Hunter. I wonder if the front bar just barely clipped his, and I didn't even feel contact. So if there was contact, it must have been very, very little. So I feel bad about that. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. I mean, we're looking forward to the rest of the night. The USF 2000 cars and Indy Pro.
Well, we did get a chance to talk to Hunter there a little bit, and the conversation came up about what happened there and the way the nights went. You know, we've got this new graph. You have to check it out and give us some feedback on it later. The Chad graph that we've got going on tonight, and we discussed maybe you need some glasses out there to see the front of your car. Maybe you can't see it all that well.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. In the Freedom 100, my cat jumped in front of the TV, so I literally tried tossing him, and like I didn't think Josh was gonna come up. Thought he was just gonna stay down, so I thought I had room to play with. It looks like he came up, and then I kind of went down a little bit because I was tossing the cat, and yeah, I feel bad about that one. But this one though, I had a really good run off it too, and I just didn't expect Hunter to be, down the pace he was on the back straightaway and backing up, and I tried not to hit him, and I guess it just got him. And the way these cars are now, they're really, really fragile with damage. So, yeah, I feel really bad about that. But other than that, it was clean.
All right, Chad, we'll give you a chance to shout out your sponsors, anybody you want to thank. But I will say, you did have the quote of the night. I found it pretty funny up here when you, after that contact with Hunter, you asked him about his damage after he had just barrel rolled down the backstretch. I don't think it was going to roll anywhere after that.
Well, like I said, with these cars, like before, where the damage model was kind of weird, where like you can flip and you can keep going, but now they kind of updated it to like the modern iRacing damage model, so like you can fix the car and it'd be back to basically 100%. So I wanted to see what his damage was and see if we needed to, extend the yellow or something. But the next two races, though, I mean, this next race, unfortunately, is more or less where you qualify, is really where you're going to finish. You guys will see that. But the one after that, the 75 lapper, as long as we have 8 to 9 guys like we have, and we get a little bit of traffic, and we get we'll get tire fall off, and that race is really interesting because you really got to save tires. So, but yeah, these next two races should be fun.
All right, Chad, good luck the rest of the night. And as everybody out there listening, we've been pretty hard on you tonight, Chad, but it's all been out of fun and out of love, and we know you can take it. So as you all can see out there listening and watching here on YouTube, we have no issues bringing it up when Chad's here. It's all fun. It's all an exciting night here to prepare for Thursday. And Chad, we'll actually ask you a little bit about Thursday right here before you jump out of here, and what to expect and what to look forward to there with our Indianapolis 500.
Yeah, so it's the 13th running. We're starting to rack the history up. it's going to be exciting. It's one of our deeper fields, although I think most in recent years the fields have been pretty deep. We have a couple of our NASCAR guys that are making their first starts, which is kind of cool. But I mean, typically they've been really, really good races. Really challenging. I mean, last year we went, I think, 130 or no, like 150 laps Costa Free. So, you're going to see a bunch of different strategies. But it's going to be exciting. I just want to, thank P1 Broadcasting for sponsoring Carb Night tonight. Urbilus Photography for sponsoring, the event itself with the Indy 500. And hopefully, hopefully we can put on a good show Thursday. Just want to thank Warriors for Peace, 4D Racewear, Worldwide Technology Raceway, Blue Egg Marketing, all our premier partners, and want to thank Kicking the Tires for helping me out, obviously being on my car in all my series. So, it should be exciting, and we got Iowa tomorrow in the Cup Series. It's gonna be exciting as well, and then Indianapolis Thursday. So it's gonna be exciting rest of the week.
Well, all right, Chad. As long as Carlos or Peter don't have anything for you, I'll let you jump out of here. Get ready for the next session. I believe we're going to be launching here in just a couple minutes. And good luck the rest of the night. And hopefully you can stay away from that drama and maybe get back in victory lane before the night's out.
Yeah, that'd be nice. We're gonna probably start a little bit early again, so we'll keep the night rolling here.
All right, thank you so much, Chad. I picked you to win this second race, and I'm 2 for 2 so far, so suck it, Chris. So congratulations. Hopefully you stay out of trouble for the next race, and we'll see if we can talk to you again later.
Yep, thanks, guys.
All right, well, while we go ahead and transition on over into the next race, I want to quickly go ahead and shout out the sponsors and get our money get paid out to us. So we'll be right back after a couple little commercials, and remember, next race is scheduled to start at 8:45. It could be a little bit earlier, so if you need to step out of the room, make sure you keep the TV all nice and loud so you guys can hear, just in case we do start it up just a little bit earlier than usual.
Since 2010, race fans have had one burning question. When will the Xfinity Series return to Worldwide Technology Raceway? You asked, NASCAR delivered. On Saturday, September 6, 2025, the magic is back. The track that launched the legendary careers of Harvick, Busch, Keselowski, Edwards, and Earnhardt Jr. is now ready to write that next chapter. We're going to introduce you to a new crop of future champions and Hall of Famers. And in the process, we'll create more of the greatest moments in racing history. NASCAR Weekend 2025, the NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs, the Confluence Music Festival, and now 250 miles of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 2 incredible races, 1 challenging track, a 3-day party of epic proportions. Go to www.raceway.com and lock in your weekend racing and camping packages for as little as $20 down.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
3 years of sellout crowds, 3 years of edge of your seat action, 3 years of jaw-dropping finishes. Worldwide Technology Raceway has rocked the world of NASCAR, and now NASCAR is giving us another reason to celebrate. The 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship playoffs are coming. Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Just when you thought the racing couldn't get any more intense, now every single lap matters. One wrong move could be the difference between elimination and being crowned the king. The Enjoy Illinois 300, the Confluence Music Festival, the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, and for the first time in 15 years, the NASCAR Xfinity Series on Saturday, September 6th. Don't be on the outside looking in. See history being made in your own backyard. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
Whoops, I forgot to clear all that out. Welcome back, everyone. As actually, it is cleared out, but just SDK is having a little fit there. Welcome back, everybody, to the third race tonight. Chris is currently taking care of a small issue, but he should be back momentarily. Still, alongside me, Carlos Acosta, is Peter Short. And Peter, we've already had 2 fun races. I don't know if you caught any of the Freedom 100, but you were here for the majority of the Hoosier 50, and now it's time for the Freedom 50. We're gonna have 50 miles here of some fun. Excuse me, as I had a little cough there. We're gonna have 50 laps of some fun USF 2000 racing here at Lucas Oil. Now, I'm not really too familiar with this type of car, open wheel car, and we were talking to Chad. This is usually going to be where you qualify is where you're going to be finishing in this race. I don't know, Peter, if you have any experience here.
Yeah, well, these cars, you know, we just went from the sprint cars that had no forms of downforce to now starting to add some downforce. And it's interesting that the final 2 races here tonight both feature cars with 2000cc engines, and they're both made by the same manufacturer, actually, the Tetris manufacturer, making both the USF 2000 as well as the Indy Pro 2000. But in this first race, we've got the USF 2000s. Obviously, they have wings, they have front and rear wings. They're going to have quite a bit of downforce for this type of a short track. We're still going to see them lifting a little bit. They're not going to be flat out around this track, but that level of downforce is going to add the downforce effect to the car, as well as everything that comes along with it, which is, of course, aero push. When you're tucked up behind a car, you're not going to be able to get as much air on your wings, and you're not going to get as much downforce. There's also variable banking at this racetrack. But with all that being said, I did see some really good battling actually happening in practice. I got to see some side-by-side action. So it is possible, Carlos, that we will see some side-by-side action. I saw Ethan Stanley out there on the racetrack going side-by-side with a couple of other drivers and trying to make moves and doing over-unders. Hopefully we see that in the race here in just a little bit. But we're in the qualifying session right now. These drivers are trying to get a good lap time in, but it's currently the number 94 of Josh Osborne, who is top of the qualifying charts right now. So going to be interesting to see how that all sorts out. And currently, in terms of the grid, we got Stanley and Frankenfield at the back. So that is going to be very interesting to see exactly what they can do. We know they're extremely fast. We saw that in the last race, but they're going to have to work their way up. As I say that, though, Frankenfield jumps to second on the board. Nope, top of the chart.
Wow.
They waited until the last minute to roll. I think they knew the track was going to cool down, and they pulled a fast one on us.
Yeah, they did. There is still 1 minute left, but I think everyone has put their lap times in. Stanley going third on the board. So some late changes to the pylon, but like I said, very different car than what we just saw. But I think that's one of the really fun things about tonight, Chris, is that it isn't just, you know, winged cars. We did throw in the sprint car for some fun, and you think about the USAC sprint car and everything that it did for the Indy Racing League back in the day. It was, of course, a stepping stone back then, and now we're still kind of in that same vein. Chris, why don't you take away with the starting lineup?
Yeah, we got Chad out front, so that is going to start us with a pretty low number, you know, down at least under 40% on the Chad graph to start this race. Got Josh Osborne second, Ethan Stanley right there in third. We got Chris and Akash running out the top 5. Presley Soar. First time tonight he hasn't won the pool. Presley won the pool at the big track over there for the Freedom 100. Came over here, won the pool for the sprint car race. And so he's starting a little further back than he's used to tonight. Gavin Hibbs, Hunter Smith there, Nick DeGroot, Mark Rebelos, and Seth Rawls. We'll round out our 11 car field, and hopefully tonight in this race right here, race number 3, we can avoid to have the big wreck. We've had one big wreck in each race. Hopefully all 11 of these guys are running at the end of this thing.
Yeah, well, we have we've already picked twice here tonight This is going to be race number 3 of 4. And, well, we're going to have Peter Short make the first pick, followed by Chris. And then, of course, I'm 2 for 2, so I'll make the third pick.
You know, I was looking in practice and I saw Ethan Stanley running the old Newman Haas livery that you saw the likes of Mario Andretti run back in the day. Nigel Mansell ran the Red 5 in that livery as well. So Ethan Stanley's going to be my pick here in the Freedom 50. I just love that paint scheme and hopefully can see it in victory lane after the end of this one.
Well, if you're going to take Ethan Stanley, I think give me some Gavin Hibbs out here tonight. I know Chad said we're not going to see any passing in this race. He said we're going to be seeing them run where they start. So I guess Chad's really hoping for that now since he got the pole. But I'll take Gavin to be able to get it done from 7th.
I know you'd probably be expecting me to pick Chad because he won the last one. He started on pole, and this one he's on a roll. No. Chad's going to drop to the middle of the field for some reason, and then he's going to get taken out by Hunter Smith. I already have that feeling that's going to happen. So Chad's not going to win this race, but I think that I'm going to put my money on Chris Albrecht.
Well, there you
All right.
heard it. Our picks right there. We're getting ready to go green. Chad's picked the top. Haven't seen that yet tonight, but here he is picking the top side of the racetrack. Tells me he thinks it's going to be a single file lane at the wall. We'll have to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, like I said, I saw that low line being used in practice and passes being made down there because these cars do have some downforce. They can use that flat side of the racetrack with the downforce they have, and we'll see how that all pans out as Chad is on the loud pedal very early, gets a huge jump towards turn number 1.
Yeah, a huge jump. That's going to help our Chad graph there quite a bit to start this thing. There are some guys back there with some black flags from the start. I'm not sure if those do get cleared. It was Chris there. Got himself a black flag, jumped in the middle 3 when some guys weren't ready to go. Chad's got the lead. We're going to have Osborne there in 2nd. Chris is going to be 3rd, and the battle behind them is double file. Maybe triple wide there.
Yeah, they're 3 wide. That is Hibbs on the bottom side, Sora in the middle, and Ethan Stanley up top. Ethan not having a good start here. Started on the inside of row number 2, and my pick here has already dropped outside of the top 5, dropped all the way down to 7th now, as Hibbs made the path, already starting to move forward in his Red Bull livery number 95, still side by side in front of him is a battle for the 4th position, but Rajesh will hold on to that spot for now, and all of a sudden we look to be mostly single file through the field except for Seth Rawls and Nick DeGroot. They're battling it out towards the back, but they do start to fan out in the corners. And Chris, they're just trying to get some clean air on the wings of these cars to get as much downforce out of them as possible.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's looking like what Chad told us there at the end of that last race. He said it was going to be kind of single file parading. And unfortunately, that's what we got. We'll have to see if maybe tire wear comes into play in 10, 15, 20 laps. These guys start handling a little worse, and some guys do a better job. Maybe we'll see some passing. But right now, it is Chad driving away. Osborne's now created a gap over 3rd place, and Chris is trying to drive out through there as well. They're all lined up there looking at that multicam. They're packed together right here, but they're all lined up, not really battling each other.
Yeah, really starting to string out just a little bit. Nick DeGroot making a pass on Hunter Smith towards the back of the pack. That will move him up into the 8th position. Just looking around that 5th spot where Presley Sora is running just a little bit different line, running a little bit higher up on the racetrack, almost diamonding the corners. We'll see if that helps with the tire wear as this race continues to run on. But, you know, with the track temperature being quite low and it being a night race, Chris, you'd expect there to be not a whole lot of tire wear. But, you know, stranger things have happened. We've seen races that we don't think there's going to be a lot of tire wear. All of a sudden, tire wear becomes a huge effect. It just really depends on the iRacing build at any given time on how the tires are going to interact with the car over the long run.
Well, I think you know more about these cars than I do. I can tell you this: it could be a stock car race, and it could be 20 degrees, track temp could be 40, and we're going to wear the right front out on those stock cars. So that's where kind of my bread and butter is. I can tell you what's going to happen here over the course of a run. If we were driving, I think, what do you guys call them? Those taxi cabs? So, as far as this goes, man, I'm going to take your word for it because I don't know a whole lot about these race cars, these open wheel cars. You know, I know a little bit about the Indy cars just from where I've spent a season in them and been over there doing some broadcast work and whatnot. So, that's all you over here. What do you think we're going to see over the course of these next 40 laps?
I really don't think tire wear is going to factor in a whole lot. These cars are just so light. I mean, you think about the stock cars being, you know, over 3,000 pounds. These cars are not close to that. So they don't work the tires as much as a stock car will. And of course they have a lot of downforce, which will, you know, kind of balance out the tire wear a little bit more than the stock car, where you're really leaning the weight on the right front, or if you're trying to drive up off the corner, sometimes you wear out the right rear. These cars just tend to be a little bit more balanced on tire wear in comparison to a stock car. Not saying you can't wear out the right front. You still can wear out the right front, but it's a little bit harder to do so. We did see some battling here for the 4th position, riding on board with Presley Sora. See him right there having a look to the inside. And, you know, one thing I'm a little bit surprised about is the lap times that these cars are running compared to the sprint cars that we just saw a little while ago. Pretty comparable lap times. The fastest lap we saw in practice was Chad Frankenfield, a 20-second flat. And that's pretty comparable to what we saw with the sprint cars, only a couple of tenths faster than the sprint cars. So, yeah, these cars have wings on them. But they have a lot narrower tires than what those sprint cars have, so that kind of balances the lap time out. It'll be interesting to see what a multi-class race between the sprint cars and these would end up looking like. It would look really funky on the screen as we still see this battle for the 4th position, duking it out. Sora wanting that spot, but Rajesh holding on that outside line. Now Sora able to really dive off into turn number 1. I think he's going to hold on to that spot, but here comes Rajesh looking back on the inside.
Yeah, and we got this. This is the best battle on the track, and I can tell you here, looking at it and looking at the times, like you mentioned, their lap times are very similar to what we saw in the sprint cars. The sprint cars got going a lot faster down the straightaway. They had to really slow down for the corners. These things are just flying through the center of the corner. Doesn't look like these guys are struggling to drive the car at all. Is that what, you know, as easy as it looks, or are they actually fighting the wheel out there? You know, I'm just waiting on somebody to jump sideways, but I'm not seeing it.
Well, you know, the thing, and I tell people this all the time, when you look at oval racing, you know, some people are like, you're just turning left, right? Well, on an oval race, you're always managing the grip level. You're always trying to find that edge of the grip level that the tires have at any given moment. And that's what they're going to be doing here. They're trying to find that edge where you don't want to go across the line, your car push up into the wall. These cars will tend to be on the tighter side rather than the looser side. You know, they got downforce. They're going to grip. So you're leaning on the tires to give you that mechanical grip and the downforce to give you that grip through the corners to get you through. So it might not be, you know, difficult to make it through the corner, but finding that edge where the tires don't have any more capacity to get you through, that's what's difficult. That's where the skill is with these types of cars, and doing that lap after lap after lap to maximize your long run pace. And speaking of long run pace, we're just starting to see Frankenfield stretch it out just a little bit. He's almost up to a second over Osborne. That last time by Frankenfield was about a tenth of a second faster out front. Of course, clean air on the nose of the number 15 from the drop of the green flag is going to help that tire wear, because he's going to be able to get a little bit more downforce, which means he gets to not use the tires quite as much as the cars behind him to get the car through the corner. It's really that trade-off between the grip due to downforce and the grip that is provided by the rubber underneath you. And Frankenfield will just keep an eye on him. It's again another tenth and a half or so. That last time it's up over a second out front.
Yeah, and the guy I'm looking at here, and we're watching him on the screen here, is Presley. He's been working his way through this traffic. He's been trying to make this pass here to move into the 3rd spot. Hasn't been able to make it happen yet. He seems to have pretty good long run pace. And like you mentioned, how much grip these guys have, the commitment level it takes to attack and run as hard as they are through the corner. It's one thing to go fast and have that big number at the end of a straightaway, but to carry the throttle that they're having to carry through the middle of the corner, you're having to commit every time that the car is going to stick. It's going to do the same thing. It's going to be the same as last time and not jump sideways on you. That's a lot of commitment to have and not, it's a lot of trust to have in the car too. And so these guys are trusting this car an awful lot. The only thing I would know to compare it to is going from the old stock car that we used to run, where you had to really get through the corner smooth, to switching to the next gen where it's just about 110% all the time. Drive it down to the corner, it's going to stick, it's got the grip, it's got the wide tire. And here's Presley once again trying to take the spot, trying to take third. I think if we talk to Presley after this thing, he's going to say, man, if I'd have done a little better job in qualifying, I might have had something for Chad. But the qualifying lap is probably going to take away Presley's shot to win this race. But there is still half a race to run. He has now made that pass for third, and he's right on the door of second place here, Josh Osborne, now as well.
Yeah, and of course, Carlos in the background here is probably running some numbers on what's the chances of us getting a caution, because a caution flag could.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's always an opportunity for us to get a caution, right?
Yeah,
so
guys.
that could completely change.
Guys, I've been crunching the numbers, and I cannot believe what I am seeing. But we have a whopping, this is an unprecedented number, 0% chance of a caution coming out right now. Chad's pulling away. He's actually pulling away from the rest of the competition. And I mean, I'm double checking, I'm triple checking my math, I'm crunching all these numbers. It's a whopping 0% right now.
A
I think the only thing that's going to change that is if Presley can get second, start closing the gap. There he is, takes a big commitment trying to slide, doesn't commit in there like he needs to. I think he just needed about 6 more inches and he'd had that pass made.
Yeah, I'm just watching that number 98 rotate through the center of the corner. He's rotating through the corner really, oh, contact! The number 94's around, and the 07's involved too, lost the rear wing, and that is going to bring out the caution. Carlos, caution, it's not involving Chad. So
I don't know. I've been checking, I've been crunching the numbers. I'm looking at all the Oh, I forgot about Steiner math. I forgot to add Kurt Angle into the mix. I apologize. The numbers were incorrect.
You're starting to sound like my local weatherman, I'll tell you what. 0% chance of rain, and it rains. But the caution flag is out. We'll see if we can dial up a replay for you. But that was some really close, tight battling in turn number 1 and 2. See if we can break down what happened. You see the number 98 get a run.
I think the second place car was going to try to shallow up his entry there to force Presley to run the bottom. Presley said, I'm not running the bottom, I'm running the same line I've been running. They came together, and every car in the top 5 except Chad is now wrecked.
Yeah, I think this racetrack, I mentioned it in the sprint car race and a little bit earlier, this racetrack has a change in banking right above the first groove, and so that second groove you got a little bit extra banking, and I think the number 98 of Presley Sora was trying to get that little bit extra banking, and unfortunately Joshua Osborne kind of came down. Let's see if we get another angle. This will be a good angle right here as we ride on board, and
he was
unlucky
almost
there
through
for
and then got
Rajesh.
tagged. Yeah, just almost through.
So that brings out the first caution flag just past the halfway mark. We still have right now 17 laps to go. We'll make that 16 as they go across the stripe this time. That is going to put, look at this, Chris. We got Chad Frankenfield and Ethan Stanley 1-2. Where have I seen this one before?
And that's kind of the talk of the town in elite road course action there in these open wheel cars. It's Chad and Stanley are always 2 of the top 3 or 4 guys. So right back here we are again.
That's rough.
Right behind him there. So Ethan was probably having some not so great things to say about the way his car was driving, the way this race was going. And then all of a sudden, running 6th, a little bit off the pace, and it just works out for him to get to 2nd. Now he's got a shot to win. Is that a picture of you, Carlos, out there playing?
That's me right now, yeah. Unfortunately, I dropped the ball doing the math there.
well, it's all good. It's hard to tell when Chad's going to cause a wreck or not, and that one was not on Chad. Chad's driving away, gets another great jump. We got Nick DeCrute up here to third as well. Mark Rebelos up to fourth. We'll have to see if anybody has anything for Chad over the course of these last 15 or so laps that we have left. But right now, Chad's way out there once again. Already got a half a second lead over Stanley.
Yeah, Stanley just didn't seem to have the pace in that long run. So we'll see whether Stanley's able to do anything now that he has maybe a little bit cleaner air on the nose, but not as clean as the air on the nose of the number 15 as Frankenfield that last time by about a tenth of a second faster. Meanwhile, towards the back of the pack, Hunter Smith looking to the inside of Joshua Osborne. We got a car around the number 9 machine, has gone around Seth Rawls.
No caution.
Around, coming out of turn number 4, no caution as he's off the racetrack and all by his lonesome. Gets it pointed in the right direction. So we will stay green flag here, no caution up front.
I'm going to tell you this, Seth is a stock car guy, and I know what he was doing. He's gotten tight. He was trying to de-wedge the car, and I just don't think that works like it does in a stock car here in an open wheel car. I think he thought if he went down there, it was going to de-wedge the car, and it just spun it right around.
Yeah, we saw that a couple of times in the sprint car race where cars would go down there and de-wedge the car, and you could see them fight. We saw that in the last lap battle there between Frankenfield and Ethan Stanley when Stanley went all the way down to the bottom side of the racetrack. But, you know, with these cars, it's just not going to work the same. You're spot on, Chris. But nonetheless, it happens. I mean, you de-wedge it, but catching it's another story. As we got a good battle right here at the top of the screen. This is the battle for fourth as Hibbs in the Red Bull number 95 is holding on to the spot. Mark Rebillis in the number 96. So a couple of sequentially numbered machines, and then they got the number 94 of Osborne right behind him. So right there, 95, 96, and 94 in fourth, fifth, and sixth.
And I'm gonna tell you this: Ethan Stanley he gave up a lot of that lead early in the first lap, really, of the restart. He is holding serve. He must be learning a little bit about what Chad's doing, because he's staying just close enough where if Chad makes a little bit of a mistake, he's going to be right there. If they get a little bit of traffic, he'll be right there. So Ethan's staying close, not close enough to really make a move, but he's close enough where Chad has to be perfect here. Taking a look here on board.
I was going to say, lap count is pretty quickly wrapping up. These things clicking off.
And there is traffic right out in front of him. Yep. Carlos is, trying to show us where that car is running there. So that could be a big factor. That could take away some of Chad's clean air, and that could bring these two really close here.
Carlos's graphic there reminded me of the old TNT NASCAR graphics and Fox graphics where they have, the cars and the dirty air and all that. It's just Carlos with the yellow scribbles here on
what's
channel,
the air look like going over Chad's car when it's clean air there, Carlos? Is it a straight line right over the top of the car versus what it's going to look like when he gets to that lap car? I'm not sure what that is. Oh, what do we got here, Carlos? You have to talk us through.
Oh,
my mic was muted. We got ourselves a car, and then the air is just gonna go up here, and then it's just gonna go straight up. That's how the aerodynamics work.
Carlos, our mathematician and aerodynamicist here on the channel tonight. I like it. I like it, Carlos. You've been doing the maths while I've been away.
That is very true. But right now we got 3 laps to go here when they get to the start-finish line, and it is down under half a second. We will see if Ethan can try to close up just a little bit more. I think Chad might have even backed off a little bit, trying not to catch that lap car. He knows that it's very, very important for him to keep some kind of clean air on his nose, and if he can back up there a little bit to Ethan, that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, for every 10th,
try to run a little bit lower.
For every 10th that Stanley gains on Chad, we actually gain 2% of a chance of a caution coming out.
Well, right now he's going to have to get a little bit. I think if he can close up another car length and a half, he might be able to take a big send somewhere. We'll see. Oh, here it is, the big send down to the apron, de-wedging the car, wiggles up the racetrack, gives everything up right there. That's probably going to end his shot to win this thing. we shall see what happens here as we've got a half a lap to go. Chad Frankenfield, he is looking to try to win the first 2 races over here at Lucas Oil at the short track. He's going to come off a turn 4. Chad's going to be victorious again with Ethan Stanley out there in second. Nick DeGroot out third. Hibbs is fourth. And Mark is going to come home fifth with Hunter Smith. Keeping all 4 on the ground here this race, unlike last race, going to come home sixth.
And we got fireworks going off on the backstretch as the number 15 burns it down. Didn't even make it to turn number 2 before it started burning it down. So definitely, Chad was right, at least from being out front. There wasn't a whole lot of action, but there was some good racing, and unfortunately a little bit of contact there as Albrecht and Rajesh not able to get back to the racing surface before the end of the race with that wreck that happened around lap number 35. But
yeah, and unfortunately we had another big wreck, so we're 3 for 3 on big wrecks with 1 race to go. Maybe the last race we'll have no big wrecks for us, or will we go 4 for 4? That's something to think about moving forward here.
yeah, and wonder if that's going to factor into any strategies for the next race, because we've done 2 50-lap races here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Well, how about adding an extra 25? That's what we have in store for the next race coming up, the Freedom 75 in the Indy Pro 2000 car. So that's going to be a lot of fun to see that here in just a little bit.
Yep, well, we're going to go ahead and time to thank our Premier Series sponsors. Now that we've already had 3 races in the book, we have one last race here coming up. Should be a fun one. The question is, are we going to have Chad Frankenfield dominate all the Lucas Oil Raceway races, or are we going to have a different winner? That being said, let's go ahead and get our thank yous in. Shout out to the Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand towards victory lane. Don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big. Another shout out to Worldwide Technology Raceway. They are a motorsport racing facility in Madison, Illinois, just east of St. Louis, Missouri. It features a 1.25 mile oval that hosts the NASCAR Cup Series, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and the NTT IndyCar Series. They have a 2-mile infield road course used by the Speed Tour Trans Am, the SCCA, and the Porsche Club of America. There is a quarter-mile NHRA sanctioned drag strip that hosts the annual NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series Midwest Nationals event. And finally, they have the Kartplex, a state-of-the-art karting facility. Another massive shout out to 4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D sim racing shoes are custom engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, and still provide all the comfort needed for those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com, that is the number 4, the letter D, racewear altogether.com, and check out the original racing gloves for your feet. And one final massive shout out to tonight's main sponsor, the sponsor for the Carb Cup festivities here, P1 Broadcasting. They are an esports broadcasting organization specializing in online IndyCar style sim racing on the iRacing platform. Check out their YouTube, their Twitter, all their social medias, their as well as how to contact them and even get a quote. I put all those links in the description down below, so check all that out and check out P1 Broadcasting. Now, boys, we're going to go ahead and get ourselves prepared for the final race. I've been told catering has come in, and they've already replaced some of the snacks, brought out some more delicious baked goods. Hopefully you guys can save me a plate, please, because I am very hungry, but I need to prepare for the next show. So I'm going to play a couple ads, and then we're going to go ahead and be back once qualifying is coming to a close.
sellout crowds, 3 years of edge-of-your-seat action, 3 years of jaw-dropping finishes. Worldwide Technology Raceway has rocked the world of NASCAR, and now NASCAR is giving us another reason to celebrate. The 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs are coming Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Just when you thought the racing couldn't get any more intense, now every single lap matters. One wrong move could be the difference between elimination and being crowned the king. The Enjoy Illinois 300, the Confluence Music Festival, the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs, and for the first time in 15 years, the NASCAR Xfinity Series on Saturday, September 6th. Don't be on the outside looking in. See history being made in your own backyard. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Since 2010, race fans have had one burning question. When will the Xfinity Series return to Worldwide Technology Raceway? You asked, NASCAR delivered. On Saturday, September 6, 2025, the magic is back. The track that launched the legendary careers of Harvick, Busch, Keselowski, Edwards, and Earnhardt Jr. is now ready to write that next chapter. We're going to introduce you to a new crop of future champions and Hall of Famers. And in the process, we'll create more of the greatest moments in racing history. NASCAR Weekend 2025, the NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs, the Confluence Music Festival, and now 250 miles of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 2 incredible races, 1 challenging track, a 3-day party of epic proportions. Go to www.raceway.com and lock in your weekend racing and camping packages for as little as $20 down.
And welcome back here as we finish out our night here for Carb Day, the last race we're going to run here in the open wheel cars before we get to the Indianapolis 500 on Thursday night. If you're interested in watching, make sure you tune in Thursday night for the Warriors for Peace Indianapolis 500. But we have one race to run before that. We got 75 laps here. The Freedom 75, I believe, is what it's called. So we got one race left. Presley's got in the pool again, so he's going 3 for 4. And I am joined once again by Carlos and Peter. Guys, what are we hoping to see out of this race here?
Well, last race we didn't see a whole lot of passing. These cars have a little bit more downforce. They got some more wing on them. They also have a little bit more horsepower. They're a little bit faster, almost a second faster than the USF 2000 cars that we just saw. So hopefully we'll get to see some good action once again as Sora in that number 98 going 3 for 4 on the night, 4 poles, and then Stanley alongside Frankenfield in the number 15. He was hoping to start where he started that last race, but he's going to be rolling off 3rd. Osborne from 4th. Rajesh there in 5th, running in our top 5, and then Albrecht in at the number 8 in 6th. DeGroot and Smith making up row number 4 for this one, and then back behind them Seth Rawls and Mark Rebelis on row number 5. Got that Penske looking number 9, and of course the McLaren looking number 96 back there. Laster, good to see the number 13 in this race. And well, Chris, I don't think you're going to be competitive.
No comment right there. No comment.
I don't know what you're going at, but Gavin Hibbs is going to be rounding out the field here tonight. But Chris, you could have gone out there maybe in the stock car, but I don't think you're going to have much luck.
Tell you what, if I could have started at the front, they would have never passed me because I had fenders to use and they didn't.
That's a good point. Got fenders and not afraid to use them. That's a saying.
And the Chad excuse, it can be used, right? Chad's cat just jumped right across me. Sorry, boys.
Now, how about we do some race picks? I actually don't know who finished where. I think my guy crashed, but I don't know how you guys did.
My guy finished runner-up in that last race, but no one picked Chad to win that last race, so
True.
I'll take that as a W on my end for what it's worth. It's not worth very much.
Chris, where did your guy finish?
Hang on. On that, that's that last race right there. That's a wash. So, Carlos, you've won the picks of the night. No matter what happens in this race,
that's true.
Nobody else is going to be able to get 2 picks right, so you've already won the night.
True. Doesn't change the fact that I'm still going to be starting first here for this pick. And you know what? Chad's still not going to win this one. He's not going to get 3 in a row here. He's not going to sweep all 3 races. I do have a feeling the Presley Sora is going to lead bumper to bumper, get himself a dub here tonight for his 3 poles.
Well, I picked Ethan Stanley in the last race. Finished 2nd. I think Ethan Stanley, I'm going to go with him again here. Going to do one better in this one in that Lotus scheme and get the dub. Chris?
Man, I don't know. It's hard to pick against Chad tonight. He's on a heater. Chad doesn't have this very often, so he's going to be full of confidence out here. I think he's got the best looking car in this field. That's a great looking car he's got out there. So I'll do it. I'll jump on Chad's heater here and we'll see if he can't bring me to a win. I'll jump on his heater.
Well, I tell you what, Carlos needs one of those heaters for that freezing cold take he had in the last race where he called out 0% chance of a caution. And we got a caution 2 laps later, but pace car is on pit road. And Presley Sora going to lead us to the green. Once again, picking the high side here, Chris, like we saw in that last race with Frankenfield.
Yeah, and I think the method here is that they think the top's going to be the place to be, especially taking off. So I think that's all that is. And you see him get a great start, get away. Ethan's going to try to fight there on the bottom, but he does have a big gap if he wants to come up here. He does. He gets up to the top. Chad gets up to the top, and all of a sudden now Chad's going back to the bottom trying to make this pass. Presley driving away.
Yeah, Presley wants to see that. Wants to see that side-by-side action behind him as Frankenfield drives it off into turn number 1 pretty deep, able to get it to stick. Now, these cars, when you compare these ones to what we just saw, the USF 2000 just a little while ago. Same engine and pretty much the same chassis as well. These Pro versions, though, they have a tuned up, souped up engine and some extra body work. You see a couple of extra elements to the wings on these cars. That makes them, you know, like I was mentioning, about 0.8 of a second faster. So a little bit different than the last car. So these drivers are going to be able to feel that extra downforce as Frankenfield going off into turn number 1, throwing some sparks off the right side of the car, just kissing the wall with the right side of those tires. Meanwhile, side-by-side action inside the top 5 as here comes Akash Rajesh. Was looking underneath Josh Osborne, but not able to make that pass. But out front, Presley Sora has turned on the jets. Almost a second lead, and we're only on lap number 5.
Yeah, and we've seen this a few times tonight where the leader gets out there in that clean air and he kind of drives away. We'll have to see if Preston can keep going. Chad's up to second there, and they're kind of stacked up behind.
Yeah, they are stacked up behind Frankenfield. Not as much of a gap between a lot of the cars than what we saw in the last race. It seemed like after, 5 or 6 laps, you were starting to see gaps develop. But this one, things nice and tight as Josh Osborne just closing up the back end of Ethan Stanley's machine. Just wonder if anyone's biding time in this one. A little bit longer of a race, 25 extra laps on the count. We talked about tire wear in that last race not mattering as much, but with this race being 50% longer than the last one, tire wear is going to feature just that much more in this race, and that might be what Frankenfield has in mind. Maybe a little bit of tortoise in the hare with Presley Sora out front being the hare right now. Getting all the clean air on the nose, but there's enough of a gap now, Chris, between Presley and Chad that the number 15, he's going to have clean air on the nose of that car as well. That will help with his long-term tire wear.
Yeah, one thing we're looking at here too, the lap Chad is Presley is constantly beating the field by about 0.2 of a second a lap. So I have to wonder, is he driving a little bit too hard, or are these other guys saving? I mean, what's the situation out there? And we'll never know for sure, because drivers, if we ask one of these guys right now, they'd lie to us. That's just the way they are. They don't want to let all their secrets out of the bag, but they're consistently getting beat by Presley 1.5 or 0.2 a lap.
Yeah, one thing about this race being 75 laps is it did make me wonder what the fuel consumption window is going to look like here. Whether or not any of these drivers will have to save a little bit. Maybe some of these drivers are having to save to make it to the end of the race. Maybe Sora's banking on there being a caution. We've seen cautions in the other races so far here tonight, but at least for now, we're green flag as Osborne almost making contact on the backstretch. A little bit of a hairy moment with the bright pink number 94. Here we go. This is a good battle just inside the top 5 as the 07 dives down to that lower line. A little bit less banking down there, but clean air on the nose will help the 07. That might just offset the fact that the number 94's got more banking. Won't this time as they go back to single file here, working lap number 14.
Yeah, and we've seen a big wreck in all 3 of the races that we've ran so far tonight. So hopefully we don't see a big wreck in this one, but the way it is going right now with these guys all running together, these are ingredients for another one of these 5-6 car wrecks. Contact, they escape, almost spoken into existence. And I think Carlos is working the numbers over there on our Chad graph. Even though Chad didn't cause a wreck the last race, it is going to be known as the Chad graph till the end of time from here on out. So Carlos, what do we got on the Chad graph right now?
I've been crunching the numbers, and I've accounted for everything. I am 100% confident that my numbers are correct. Right now, it's at a brisk 65% chance of caution, and it's a little lower than we expect. But the more that these drivers kind of stay separated, the lower it could possibly get longer into the run. Now, if these guys continue to stay like this, thinking about getting into some battles like we're seeing right there, it's brought up to 62% chance right now of a caution. The more cars we have side by side, the higher chance of a caution, even just by a little bit, increases. So right now it's at a 63.5% chance of a caution, and once they get single fault, it's actually dropped down now to 59%. So fluctuating tonight here early on, but it'll start to taper off and then start fading down lower and lower.
But what's not fluctuating is Presley's lead, as it is out over 3 seconds now. He is just having himself a Tuesday night drive right now out here, saying everybody get some good pictures. We're going to cruise on over here, and we are not going to let Chad sweep the short track tonight.
Yeah, mighty impressive out front in that number 98 machine, just not looking back. The field currently is separated by 11 seconds from first back to the number 13 of Brayton Laster, who is in a little bit of his own battle with Mark Rebelis in that number 96. So good battles both up at the front of the field and at the tail end of the field. You see that battle down there for 11th on the bottom side of your screen. But definitely a lot more compact of a field in this one compared to the last race. I just wonder if maybe that's the additional downforce, you know, allowing these drivers to stay a little bit, you know, closer together in terms of the fact that maybe it's a little bit easier to drive with that additional downforce. I'm not 100% sure, but like you said, Chris, Presley Sora showing them that, hey, you know what, you can go a little bit faster. You don't have to be all grouped together. As riding on board here with Gavin Hips, getting nice up and close to the wall on the straightaways, and then dropping down really low on the racetrack. Bit surprising he's going so low on the racetrack. Didn't quite expect that. We saw some issues in the last race. I think Seth Rawls it was that looped his car around after getting that low on the racetrack, de-wedging it, and didn't bring out a caution, but definitely something to watch out for.
Yeah, and like you mentioned about Presley, he's over 3.5 seconds up now. Chad, Ethan, all those guys just running in line right now. We got 50 laps to go here. I have to think if they're saving a little bit of something here in the next handful of laps, we're going to see what they've saved over him and start closing this gap. But right now, he is still just, I mean, you watch that number there on our graphic. It's went from 3.5 to 3.7 to 3.8 in just the time that I've been talking about us having 50 to go. So he's still driving away.
Still driving off. Yep. And yeah, just watch that ticker on the left-hand side of your screen, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's definitely surprising, but only time will tell whether or not maybe some different strategy is in play. Now, I just noticed Nick DeGroot pulled off the left-hand side of the racetrack and let Hunter Smith and Chris Albrecht on by him just very easily. Just backed out of it, said, come on by. Not sure if Nick DeGroot's having some issues in the number 89 machine right now, but he's going to drop from 7th down to 9 in one fell swoop. Does kind of
And you might think, you know, if you're watching, 4 seconds is not a lot, you know, and at the speedway, it might be a lot, but at 4 seconds around here, we're only looking at 19-second lap. 4 seconds is about a third of a lap.
Yeah,
that's huge.
It's mighty impressive. I mean, if you're Chad Frankenfield, you cannot see the leader except for maybe a split second when they're on the same straightaway, and that's a little bit unnerving for a driver sometime when you just
we got
lose
one on the
touch.
wall here. I'm not sure who that is that we're looking at here, but he just hit the wall.
That's Albrecht in the number 8 machine there with the Valvoline Vodafone machine. I think that's a V8 supercar scheme, or supercar scheme as they dropped the V8 many years ago now. But throwing up some sparks. Doesn't look like there's much damage on that car. So we stay green as we are rapidly closing in on the halfway mark with these 19-second lap times. We'll see the cross flags in just about 7 laps from now. So kicking them off.
It's the Presley show out here. I mean, he has gotten out to 4.5 seconds, and I mean, it's still growing. Like, I don't know. Like, he's into lap traffic. You know, at this rate, he is going to be able to lap up to about 8th place if it stays green. Maybe more. I mean, he might go get some more. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you see he's in lap traffic right now as the number 96 goes down a lap. He's already put Brayton Laster down 1 lap, so definitely clicking him off. He's got a pretty big gap now to the number 8 machine, the number 9 machine of Seth Rawls up in front, about a full straightaway or so. So about 6 seconds of the car in front. But whoa, Seth Rawls is off the racetrack. Not sure what has happened to the number 9 machine. That was very strange. Almost looked like a hardware issue.
I think some money might be changing hands here from Chad trying to get a caution. He might have offered him $10 to get a caution.
Yeah, let's see what happened here. Just that's a unique line. There's not a lot of grip down in the grass, but it is a shorter way around the racetrack. As now Seth Rawls goes a lap down.
Yeah, and there it is. You see the money changing hands right there. Paying for yellows because, I mean, we're now up to, we're closing in on 5 seconds here of the lead. I mean, Presley has just found himself another gear. This is, it's not Presley Sora tonight, it's Presley Larson out here.
Still half the race to go. Just saw the cross flags, so, you know, anything can happen. We've seen many times here on the channel that stuff happens, you know? Yellow flag comes out, things change.
Oh, yeah.
Run out of fuel.
If you get Chad on your bumper after a yellow, if something happens, you get a yellow, Chad's on your bumper. I mean, we can already imagine what those Chad graph numbers are going to go to.
Yeah,
you guys want some updated numbers?
Going to come out. Sure, Carlos.
All right. Normally when Chad is in the lead, it's at the lowest, or on the 35 and below bracket. Chad, 2nd through 5th is when it's almost at an all-time high, around 85%. Chad is right now 2nd, but because Sora is pulling away at such a drastic amount, and the fact that he's essentially untouchable to Frankenfield, and so far, clean race so far, it's essentially like as if Frankenfield is leading the race. So I'm actually crunching the numbers now, and we are at 12% chance of a caution coming out. It's not impossible, but there's a small chance we're gonna have a caution race, caution here tonight.
Well, there you heard it, Peter. We got low numbers right now on the Chad graph as Presley has now extended this lead over 5 seconds. They are working some lap traffic there. That is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th who are all running right there. As they work the traffic, Presley out there, though, he's got quite a ways to go. I mean, Presley's just out there having himself a little test session, finding his speed. The battle's on. You see a lap car pulling out of the way. I believe that's Seth. Pulled down and said, you guys go ahead. He's struggling. He drove through the grass once tonight, so he's just trying to get to the end of this thing, trying to figure this out.
Yeah, no, I was pondering in the background whether or not Carlos's Chad graph math factored into account lap traffic, because we saw Chad deal with a little bit of lap traffic. I would like to see the equations, Carlos, or are they too difficult to present on screen?
They're way too difficult to present. I got like 15 whiteboards all filled to the brim with different types of equation.
Oh, you're like that one guy from that one TV show with the board and the...
Oh, yeah.
The hands and the connecting of the dots. Yeah,
yeah.
Okay, that's
Luigi,
fair.
yeah.
I get it. Meanwhile, Sora still connecting all those dots up over 5 seconds. I'm just keeping my eye on that battle for a second. Stanley's just keeping in touch with Frankenfield, but I am starting to see a gap start to develop between those two. Not sure if, Carlos, if you can bring up the graphic that, shows what the gap has been between 2nd and 3rd over the last 5 to 10 laps or so, but it definitely seems like Frankenfield may be starting to pull away a little bit there. You see from just about 3/10 to almost a half second. Of course, that will ebb and flow. And there's the latest update, only 0.008 of a second. So, Chris, they are running almost identical lap times. So that's what we've seen tonight. These two very equally balanced on pace.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they're not even racing for the win. They I don't see in these last 25 laps them running him down on pace, even if his tires go away, even if that car falls off. And right now, that gap is still growing. Like, it's not like they're catching him or they've started to break even or anything like that. The gap still is just, you see it go from 4.5 to 4.6, or 5.5 to 5.6. I think they've kind of know that they're racing for second, so Stanley's probably not going to be too aggressive trying to make this pass.
Yeah, Stanley did just get really tight out of turn number 2. Looks like he might have lost just a little bit of time this lap. But, you know, when you're a little bit further back from the car in front, you get a little bit cleaner air on the nose and you get a little bit extra confident in the grip level. And so, you know, you start to close back in. And as soon as you start to close in on the car in front of you, that downforce goes away. And the characteristics of the car change depending on how close you are to the car in front of you, especially with these cars that have a little bit more aerodynamics on their wings than the USF 2000s that we saw a little while ago. So that might be factoring into the gap that is really being maintained between Frankenfield and Stanley at the moment. But also just want to turn my eyes to our 4th place car, the 07, having a strong, solid run. That's Akash Rajesh, and really good run for that number 07 machine. Keeping it nice and clean. Good looking ride right there. I'm not sure if he picked that one off the trading paints or painted that one up himself, but that's I like those colors, the pink and yellow. You don't often see those two colors work out together, but that one really stands out on the track.
I'm going to tell you what, if they're going to start closing the gap on Presley, this is the perfect opportunity. He has caught a bunch of traffic. He's got everybody 5th on back right out in front of him. Big group of traffic here in front of Presley. So if they're going to start making time up, this is where they're going to do it. Because Presley is about to get into a ton of traffic. He's already worked his way around one of them. And now they're double wide in front of him. He's going to shoot the middle 3. He is not going to be conservative. He does not want to see this lead shrink. Wow, he's passed 3 cars in the last lap of the half as Presley. That was incredible. As we are still watching here our 4th place runner.
Yeah, and of course, I'm scratching my head here because in all that, he's now up to over a 6-second lead as we've got one car on pit road here. That is Hibbs, who's not unfortunately had a great race in that number 95 as he's coming to his pit crew, and they will go to work on that number 95. It might be night done for that number 95 as well, as it looks like he is out of the car. Also, Nick DeGroot, I saw him off pace a little while ago. He has taken the number 89 machine to the garage as well and has called it a night here. So a couple of possible retirees in this race, but we've been caution free, Chris, 17 laps ago. I think the big question is, did I just jinx us, or are we going to see green flag all the way here?
I think, you about jinxed. The battle's on for second. Something has happened to Chad. Oh, they make contact. We need that Chad graph right now. We need that graph right now.
92%, guys. 92% chance of caution coming out right now. 94. It's climbing. 95. Okay, it's back down to 93.
I will say this, though. What happened right there? Something has happened to Chad, and his tires have went away in a hurry. Chad, all of a sudden, just gave up a ton of time, went back to pit road.
That's going to. These are scheduled green flag pit stops, guys. Tires matter. Oh wait, no, he's quitting.
No,
he's done.
He said that something happened. Something happened with Chad, and he said, "I gotta park. I gotta park." I don't know if the cat struck again.
Guys, I'm crunching the numbers. There's a 0% chance of caution coming out right now.
Where have I heard that one before? Almost like the last race. I'm just going back, Chris, and I'm looking to see if maybe Chad hit the wall at some point, or
he just said the cat got on his desk and was knocking his drink over, so he had to.
Oh, Chad got wet pants.
That is.
I'm not even going to touch that one on there.
Oh, sorry, that's not what I meant. I meant like the drink.
Hey, listen, it can happen to anybody, all right? Everybody gets there at some point.
I mean, it depends.
Hey, eventually you'll need those too.
Ba-dum-tsh.
It's my 30th birthday, so it's getting closer to me now.
Well, we got 10 laps to go here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park, and well, Presley Sora out front. I mean, you know, just I think you said it earlier, Chris. Out for a Tuesday night stroll in the Raceway Park, if you will.
Somebody should tell him he's got an 8-second lead. He does not need to be passing these guys as soon as. I think he's wanting to lap the field. I mean, he's got 4th place right out in front of him.
Yeah, he does. That's mind-blowing, but Hunter Smith is the immediate car for him to lap, and Hunter is currently in 5th position, and they're battling for 4th, and they're catching lap traffic right in front of our race leader. Presley Sora backs out of it, I think, a little bit there, says, you know what, maybe I can get
out
up
at all. I think he doesn't want to win this race. He wants to send a message.
He's gonna go
stick
top side
Oh!
of 3.
Somebody tell this man that he has got this race won. He just has to be calm.
Gonna drop
Here he
to the
goes.
low side here. Whew.
Oh yeah, he is. You would think he had somebody racing him for this win right here.
Presley
Oh,
Sora has
Josh
the
Osborne.
spirit of Chad Frankenfield in the cockpit right now.
He's going around the top with a slow car out in front of him. Slow car pulls down out of the way.
For a brief while, we had a 13%
There it
chance
is.
for caution.
We're down to 3 cars from the lead lap, and Ethan Stanley in 2nd is a half a lap behind him. So, way to stick up the show. Like I said, this is not Presley Sora tonight. This is Presley Larson. He's got the Larson name tonight.
Didn't I say he was going to lead bumper to bumper?
You did. That is some. You called it out. So Carlos.
Well, it's
you're
not
trying to
over
go
yet. It's
3
not
for
over
4.
yet. We saw the ending to the 2011 the Indy 500.
Yeah, you just gotta not Hildebrand it off turn number 4. Although here, you know, at least you got it's a shorter front stretch. So even if he did Hildebrand it, he's got a big enough lead. Let's be honest. Right now, 3 more laps to go, and that lead did shrink, but I think wisely and mindfully backed out of it while that.
It shrunk for a second, but he just knocked 2 more tenths onto it that lap. He's back on it. He's on the chip.
You know, that's what you have to do sometimes. If you're out front and you have a rhythm, don't back down. There are times where if you back down, you're going to get yourself into trouble because your mind is just not going to be 100% as focused. Sometimes it just makes sense as a race car driver to just stay completely honed in. And that is what Presley Sora has done since the drop of the green flag, as the white flag is in the air for the Freedom 75.
And guys are blowing tires. We just had the 13 blow a tire. Mark just blew a tire. Stanley said he's getting close. So who's not getting close is Presley. He's going to come off of turn 4. Sends a message. Wins the race. Carlos goes 3 for 4. What a night for Carlos. Go play the lottery. We got 15 seconds to wait here for Stanley to come across for 2nd.
I'm not the only one that won 3 for 4. Presley Sora won 3 for 4 in polls.
He did. Only 1 for 4 on races, though.
Chad came out of here the winningest driver tonight. Presley Sora, the fastest driver tonight. And me, well, I'm back to my usual great picking ways.
It's all that math that you're doing. You're getting better at predicting race winners, too.
I've done so much math today. I'm all mathed out.
Number 98 might be making a figure 8 there on the front stretch for you, Carlos.
He's
Kind of
making
looks like
a
a
really
9.
big 9. Yeah, now he's got to do the 8.
Look, I hope that the Chad graph keeps living on. I know we started it tonight and had some fun with it, but tomorrow night, live from the Elite Racing Network, live from Iowa, will be the Cup Series race. Let's keep the Chad graph out there because I am sure Chad will be around some chaos tomorrow night.
Oh, hopefully it's not near me.
Yeah, I second that opinion. Hopefully it's not near me. But we got Thursday night, Warriors for Peace IndyCar Series, the Indianapolis 500. That's what all this is about. Everything we did tonight was part of promoting that, leading up to that Indianapolis 500. Get to see some great action there on Thursday, and then Sunday we'll be back in action with the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series. Monday we'll be back with the Mark Rebelos Photography Grand National Series. So it's going to be a great week of action, and like I said, tonight was all about that Indy 500, so make sure you tune in on Thursday to watch that Indy 500. As we wait on our guys to get here, Carlos, are there any sponsor reads we didn't get to tonight?
Well, we got through all the sponsor reads. I'm gonna give one last massive shout out to P1 Broadcasting. There wouldn't be a Carb Cup day tonight if it wasn't with the major help of P1 Broadcasting. They are an esports broadcasting organization specializing in online IndyCar style sim racing on the iRacing platform. So give them a shout if you ever need any broadcasting services need, especially if it's open wheel or IndyCar on iRacing. You can check out their socials. All the links that they have provided us, I've provided in the YouTube description, so check it out. They are a great company. Well, let's see. Nobody's on there quite yet. So we're gonna go ahead and play a commercial or two, and then hopefully we'll see if we can get Sora out here. If not, then we'll try to get anybody out here, and if not, then we'll just call it an early nap for us. So we will be right back.
Years of sellout crowds, 3 years of edge-of-your-seat action, 3 years of jaw-dropping finishes. Worldwide Technology Raceway has rocked the world of NASCAR, and now NASCAR is giving us another reason to celebrate. The 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs are coming Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Just when you thought the racing couldn't get any more intense, now every single lap matters. One wrong move could be the difference between elimination and being crowned the king. The Enjoy Illinois 300, the Confluence Music Festival, the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs, and for the first time in 15 years, the NASCAR Xfinity Series on Saturday, September 6th. Don't be on the outside looking in. See history being made in your own backyard. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back here live for Carb Day. We are wrapping it up here. Our final race just finished. And we are standing here with the race winner, Presley Larson. That's what we were calling you tonight because of the butt whooping you put on this field. Take us through your night as a whole. We saw you win three of four pools. And couldn't even really race the first race there and had some issues in the second race. And ultimately put it all together and opened up a can on these boys out here in the fourth race. So talk to us about your night and about this race in general.
Yeah, the first race won the pole and didn't have a brake pedal, so I spent 5 laps in the pits trying to get my brake pedal working. Finally got it going, got my laps back, and then rode like 30 seconds behind the field because I didn't get caught up for that last restart. So that one was unfortunate. But then I won the pole in the second race of sprint cars and got side by side with Chad, and something about him tonight. You can't run side by side with that guy. He just, you end up in the wall, upside down, in the pits, meatball flag, the whole 9 yards. So you hate to see it, really. It's unfortunate. He's a nice guy, but just, something about him. But so that sucked in that second race. But third race, my iRacing crashed beforehand. I didn't get any practice, and I was running good in the race, and then had some contact with Joshua, and didn't end up finishing that one either. So the story of the night continued, but then finally had some luck go my way in that last race and won the pole for it and just checked out from the start. I think they wanted to save tire maybe at the beginning, and I was just steamrolling it, and I was running qualifying laps every single lap, and I think maybe 20 or so laps in they realized that the tires weren't really wearing, and I was still pulling away even once they tried to catch up to me. And I looked down at my relative, and it was 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and then finally grew to 8 there at the end, and caught up to some lappers there with like 5 or 6 laps to go, and they were like 2 or 3 wide in front of me. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna end up getting wrecked with 5 to go in this, but somehow made it through it and just rode to victory. I even said on the stream, on my stream over here, that there's no way that we don't get a caution or have something happen here because this has been way too easy, and somehow we didn't. So I'll take it. Those are the kinds of races I like, and I really hope this Thursday goes the same way.
Well, Presley, I'm going to pass you off to Peter here. Congrats on the win. And Peter, what do you got for Presley over there?
Yeah, I think one of the cool things about tonight was 4 different cars. Of course, the USF 2000 and the Indy Pro 2000 are, at least on paper, quite similar, and but nonetheless, 4 different cars driving tonight. How do you adjust to that situation, and what are your thoughts? I think from a driver's perspective, that makes it quite a bit of fun out there, adding that extra layer of uniqueness.
Oh yeah, it's a blast. And then, we start with the DW12, the IMS, and power's turned down to make it replicate an Indy Next car, and it's super easy to drive by yourself. So, you just put it to the floor and turn left. And then it's insane because we go from that, where it's super easy to drive, to then we go to the asphalt sprint car. An asphalt sprint car is one of the craziest cars in the entire service. Like you give it 50% throttle and the thing's lighting up the right rear, and you're spinning down the straightaways. So that one you got to really baby it. So that transition's pretty wild. And then going from that to the USF cars, it's just as big. These cars have tons of downforce, and there's still some driver input involved. You got to run a certain line, and it's really precision based. But yeah, 4 totally different cars. Even like the USF 2000 to the Indy Pro 2000, the power difference is insane. So the Pro car was running about 0.8 to a second quicker than the USF. So everything takes a while to get used to, and I know like we spend the first 5 or 10 minutes of practice just trying to figure out a line for it and our braking points. So that stuff keeps us on our toes as drivers, but it's a lot of fun. So Carb Day is one of my favorite parts about the Elite Racing League, and I look forward to it both times each year that we get to do it. And now I'm fully focused towards Thursday and hopefully bringing home a 500 win.
Yeah, of course, that's where I was going to go next. A great segue into the next question. The Indy 500, a long, grueling race, but definitely one on the calendar that you're going to want to circle. A win like this, a dominating win like this, you feel sets you up with some momentum going into Thursday night?
Yeah, it definitely doesn't help. I mean, anytime you can win, it definitely boosts your momentum. So I think I've got a pretty good shot at it. Normally with the 500, I really don't qualify well. I normally, usually based on where I am in points in the season, I roll out like 10th or 11th to qualify, and it's just good enough for me to stand on my time the whole time and never have to make another run. And usually I end up starting like somewhere 19th to 30th or so. So I always have to drive my way through the field. And my race speed's usually pretty good. It's just that qualifying sets me back so far from the beginning. But this past week in qualifying, it was kind of all over the place. But then I threw down some really good qualifying runs towards the end and starting first row. So that's a massive jump up from where I normally am in qualifying for that race. So it'll be nice to kind of just pace myself at the front and not have to worry about, doing different strategy calls, trying to find my way up towards the front. So since I'm already there, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully I can just maintain that, sit and ride, save fuel, and put myself in a good position there at the end to hopefully grab a 500.
Absolutely. Started on the front row and finishing. Started on the pole. That's the front row. And finishing with the win here tonight. Before we let you go, you got some shout outs for some sponsors?
Yeah, shout out to Land Coin Podcast, Tonka Sauce. They've been really big partners for me in real life this year, and many, many others. But shout out to Chad for putting on the league and all the hard work he does. I know that the month of May stuff on here is very taxing for him. So we all enjoy it, and he has to put in all the work for our benefit. So, we appreciate that from him. And shout out to you guys for broadcasting, too. I mean, races are always more fun to do when there's a broadcast on there, and it feels like real life. So cool to get everyone that perspective of it as well. And yeah, just shout out to everyone that helps make this thing go around.
All right, well, congrats on the win and good luck on Thursday night.
Alrighty, thank you.
Alrighty, well, 4 great races here tonight. Of course, another one tomorrow night, Chris, here in the Elite Racing League, and then Thursday and on into the weekend. Jimbo with the Stay Tuned Sports podcast and his truck series. Good friend to Jimbo. Jimbo's awesome. Make sure you tune on Friday nights as well. I mean, it's good racing here all week in the Elite Racing League.
Yeah, I don't know him, but I know Scott pretty well, and Scott's pretty opinionated, so getting a race with him, we'll be in that race tomorrow at Iowa, full distance tomorrow night, have some stage points, got that playoff battle coming right down to the wire, got one of the drivers up there in the points suspended, and so we're going to have some spots opening up, some crazy things happening with the points, and then like you mentioned, Thursday, that's the big race. That's what we were here for tonight, was to prepare for Thursday. They started with final practice for the Indy 500, and we got to have all these fun events here tonight. So make sure everybody tunes back in for tomorrow, the Elite Cup Series live from Iowa. And we've got the Warriors for Peace IndyCar Series, Indy 500 there on Thursday. And then at the end of that broadcast, they'll send you the way you need to go for next week's action on Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday once again. Thanks to Peter for being here tonight. Carlos, always great working with Carlos. Tonight was a lot of fun. We had the Chad Graph, and we're going to make sure we're going to keep that alive. That wasn't a one day only. We're going to keep that thing running. The racing we saw tonight was great, so thanks to everybody for tuning in. And Carlos, if you don't have any final thoughts, we can wrap that up right here, and everybody make sure you tune in here tomorrow night for Cup Series action live from Iowa.
Let's go ahead and end it, get ourselves an early night. And well, Peter, you're here. Why don't you go ahead and hit us with your famous last words?
Yeah.